Chapter 5081. I've said it before, you can't kill me, even if you use the 10,000 dragons diagram. Lin Xian's voice shocked countless people. Did Qin Wendian really block it? Did he really block the extreme weapon? Damn it, what was that? Countless experts stared at the black jar. That was... Kun Pingzi's pupils constricted. He exclaimed. That was the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring jar. What? The extreme weapon, the heaven-devouring jar. Was it really that thing? That thing was indeed in his hands. Exclamations sounded one after another. The experts of the 10,000 Dragon Court were also shocked. Could it be that this kid had obtained the inheritance of the heaven-devouring Great Emperor? The heaven-devouring Great Emperor was extremely terrifying. He cultivated the devouring technique. It was known as devouring the heavens and earth. He could devour other geniuses to strengthen himself. This was an extremely terrifying Great Emperor. During the era when he rose to power, there were mountains of corpses. It could be said that there were mountains of corpses and seas of blood. The myriad worlds were beaten into despair. In the end, he reached the peak of the martial path and became a great emperor. It was said that in the later years of the heaven-devouring Great Emperor, he wanted to improve further and refined himself. He turned into a heaven-devouring jar. Later on, the heaven-devouring jar disappeared after being devoured and snatched by countless experts. It was said that it appeared in the hands of the heavenly court. However, with the destruction of the heavenly court, it disappeared again. Who would have thought that it would end up in Lin Xian's hands? Was it the complete heaven-devouring jar? The experts of the 10,000 Dragon Court looked over. Kun Pingzi and the people of the Gu family also looked over. In the end, they realized that it was only half a heaven-devouring jar without a lid. This made them heave a sigh of relief because they were all holding a complete extreme weapon. However, the expressions of the 10,000 Dragon Court's people were still extremely ugly. Even if it was half an extreme weapon, it still had the might of an extreme weapon. More importantly, the two of them were only young powerhouses. Even if they had extreme weapons, they would only be able to use a portion of their strength. Therefore, there wasn't much difference between a complete one and half one. Unless they used their trump cards and used endless resources to revive an extreme weapon. At that time, the 10,000 Dragons diagram would be able to completely crush the heaven-devouring jar. But now, they weren't prepared for that. Half of the heaven-devouring jar. The Dragon Prince frowned. He was unconvinced. With a furious roar, he activated the 10,000 Dragons diagram again. With a wave of his hand, 20 storage rings appeared in the air. They all split open, and the power within them was given to the 10,000 Dragons diagram. After the 10,000 dragons obtained the power, they burst forth and crushed forward. Other than my own strength, I also have unlimited resources. The storage ring in my hand. Every single one of them could make a saint go crazy. Do you have any? The Dragon Prince sneered. I can continuously activate the myriad dragon diagram. What about you? You don't have the extra power to control the heaven-devouring jar. So in the end, I won this battle. Don't worry, when you die, the sky-devouring jar, your weapon, and your great emperor's inheritance will all be mine. We dragons will make good use of it. You can go to hell in peace. After using the power of 20 storage rings, the power of the 10,000 dragons diagram was simply too terrifying. Everyone felt despair. Lin Xian had a strange expression on his face. Competing with him in terms of resources. If this was the 10,000 dragon dynasty, then he would indeed be inferior to the other party. However, they were currently in the Dao sect and the other party was unable to borrow the strength of his family. So what if the other party had a lot of storage rings on him? Could they be compared to his sword world? Opening the sword world, Su Qin quickly used the power of the Four-Spirit Valley. With the support of the power, the heaven-devouring jar erupted with an even more dazzling light. A black vortex swept through the 9 heavens, swallowing the heavens and the earth. The light of the 10,000 dragons diagram was swallowed up, and the black vortex even appeared near the Dragon Prince. It wanted to swallow him as well. Damn it! The Dragon Emperor's roar and the roar of 10,000 dragons formed a powerful armor to block it. He really couldn't imagine that the other party actually had so many resources to be able to continuously use the heaven-devouring jar. In that case, it would be difficult to kill the other party this time. It could be said that it was almost impossible. Lin Xian used the heaven-devouring jar to fight against the 10,000 dragons diagram, and then he took out the great dragon sword spirit. He once again absorbed the power of the sword world. He knew that although he had the sword world, he couldn't use it indefinitely. So this time, he had to kill him in one strike. With a flash, he used Shadowless Heaven's net and instantly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already behind the Dragon Prince. There was a terrifying sword energy on his body that blocked the might of the extreme Tao. Then, he waved the great dragon sword spirit and struck out with the third sword of the Azura sword technique. The Azura sword technique was originally a great emperor's ability, and it was an assassination technique. Coupled with the power of the great dragon sword and the sword world, this sword strike was terrifying to the extreme. The Dragon Prince suddenly turned his head. He discovered that a sword light had slashed through his glabella, wanting to split his body in half. No. He was shocked. Damn it, what kind of aura was this? Why could it threaten him as well? Other than the heaven-devouring jar, did the other party have any other extreme Tao weapons? He roared angrily, wanting to recall the 10,000 dragons diagram to block it. At the same time, his body flew into the sky. However, he was still a step too late. The heaven-devouring jar resisted the 10,000 dragons diagram. Although the Dragon Prince's speed was fast, this sword strike was even faster. After this sword strike, a thunderous sound rang out between heaven and earth. Dragon blood rained down, and each drop of dragon blood carried with it an endless amount of dragon shadows. It pierced through heaven and earth. Many cracks appeared on the Tao Sex Array formation below. They couldn't withstand the power of this dragon blood at all. This was the blood of the Emperor, which contained the bloodline of a great emperor. Could it be that the Dragon Prince was injured? How was this possible? The people of the Dragon Palace roared crazily. They didn't believe it at all. As for Kuan Pingzi, the Yi family, and the Gu family, they also frowned. As members of the emperor race, they naturally knew how terrifying a great emperor was. Not to mention that the Dragon Prince had already taken out the 10,000 dragons diagram. They couldn't understand why he was still injured. Many people looked at the sky nervously. In the next moment, their pupils constricted. The elders of the 10,000 dragons dynasty soared into the sky. They roared crazily. However, they couldn't get close. The might of the extreme Tao in the sky was too terrifying. Their eyes turned red. Fantasy World Patriarch's scalp went numb in disbelief. As a big shot of the Tao sect, he had experienced many things. It could be said that he had seen all kinds of life and death, but he still couldn't believe it. Because he discovered that the Dragon Prince's body had been split open. That sword strike had almost split him in half. How was this possible? The Dragon Prince was actually severely injured. How did he do it? The Dragon Prince's eyes were also red, and his killing intent was awe-inspiring. In the next moment, the 10,000 dragons diagram was summoned back by him and enveloped his body. His broken body also slowly healed, but there seemed to be a force preventing his wounds from healing. He was dumbfounded and instantly understood. Chapter 5082. What did he have? Countless people were curious. However, the Dragon Prince didn't say anything else. He gritted his teeth and roared. You actually have that thing. He was too shocked. That sword strike just now had brought about a fatal threat to him. However, he was the Emperor's son after all, and his bloodline was extremely powerful. At the critical moment, he still dodged the fatal attack. This sword had split his body open. However, it couldn't take his life. However, this feeling of injury still made him crazy. The other party actually dared to hurt him. He couldn't bear it. However, he also realized what the other party had used to hurt him. A sword. The dragon's shadow sword carried an indestructible power. As a dragon, he naturally knew that this was the great dragon's sword of the 5 swords in the world. However, only the sword's soul was left, and it was still incomparably sharp. The great dragon sword was the treasure that the dragons had been searching for. This was the sword of the world's attack. It was something that belonged to the dragons. However, this thing was too mysterious, and it was even harder to find than an apex weapon. He didn't expect that it would be in the other party's hands. He found it hard to believe. The other party's fortuitous encounter was too good. Half an apex weapon and the great dragon sword's soul were enough to block the Real 10,000 Dragons portrait. Moreover, without fully recovering, he was indeed suppressed by the other party. Damn it! He roared angrily. He almost shouted just now. However, he stopped it abruptly. The great dragon sword's soul was something that everyone wanted. Once he said it, not only him, but Kuan Ping Zi, the Gu family, and even the other families would want it. Even the Phoenix clan and the Qilin clan would come to snatch it. In that case, the situation would become incomparably troublesome. Therefore, the Dragon Prince didn't say it out loud. He planned to immediately mobilize the power of his family to search for it after returning. He had to kill this kid and obtain all the treasures on him. Damn it, what exactly was that thing? However, the others were frantic with anxiety. They didn't see it clearly, and the Dragon Prince didn't say anything. Other than the Dragon Prince and Lin Xian himself, no one else knew. As expected, other than the dark red divine dragon, Yi Wudao and the others knew. Kuan Ping Zi, fantasy world ancestor, and the others also frowned. They were all guessing, but they had no evidence. The people of the 10,000 Dragons dynasty were also shocked. What did the Dragon Prince discover? So shocking. Also, what was that thing? Could it hurt a crown prince? Lin Xian also sighed. That was indeed a good opportunity. His trump card was beyond his opponent's expectations. He launched a sure-kill attack, but his opponent still managed to dodge it. At the same time, he also knew that the other party was not any weaker than him. If someone wanted to kill him, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. It was probably the same if he wanted to kill the other party. In this battle, he could only injure the other party and make a name for himself. Therefore, in order to truly kill a crown prince, one would need to make meticulous arrangements. In fact, they would need to mobilize a lot of forces. It seemed that he had to make a good plan in the future. He would make the Dragon Prince disappear. He did not attack again. The heaven-swallowing jar returned to his side and floated up and down. The great dragon sword spirit had already returned to his body, and the sword world had also been closed by him. He was like a sword god, standing above the 9 heavens. On the other side, the Dragon Prince was covered by the 10,000 dragons picture, and his extreme Dao aura was resisting the great dragon sword soul. His expression was extremely cold. The people from the 10,000 dragon court also rose into the air. She came to his side and protected him. Prince, are you all right? Just now, they were extremely nervous. If anything happened to the Dragon Prince here, even if they died 100 times, it would not be enough to atone for their sins. It's nothing. I was careless and got injured. However, it's impossible for him to kill me. Let's go. The Dragon Prince turned around and left. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court followed closely behind. A cold voice sounded. Lin Xian, this battle is not over. The next time I see you, I will definitely destroy your soul. With just you. Lin Xian sneered. This time, you escaped with injuries. Next time, I will definitely cut you down with my sword. The Dragon Prince was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He flew even faster. Soon, he disappeared into the sky. Countless people were shocked. Did the Dragon Prince fail? Although they did not dare to make a final conclusion, the Dragon Prince was indeed at a disadvantage in this battle. He was injured by Lin Xian. The difference between the two was obvious. They sucked in a breath of cold air. That was a crown prince. Moreover, he was the crown prince of the dragons. His strength and bloodline were terrifying. He definitely stood at the peak of the universe. But he was still injured. How terrifying was Lin Xian? They did not dare to imagine. Lin Xian looked around and said coldly, "Now that I have been crowned king, is there anyone who is not convinced?" The world was silent. Even the monarch races were silent. No one was convinced. Lin Xian had already used his strength to prove it. Great. The savage wilderness ancestor laughed. I was right about you. Lin Xian landed and said, "Thank you for your support, senior." Then, the group of people returned. The fantasy world ancestor looked at Lin Xian's back with a complicated expression. The stars in his eyes were extinguished. This time, he had chosen to support the Dragon Prince. But the Dragon Prince had actually lost. Did he make the wrong choice? He shook his head. Although he had lost, the Dragon Prince had not truly lost. The Dragon Prince's trump cards and strength would soon be restored. The true battle of the Emperor's Road had just begun. Among these people, only one could reach the end. He believed that the Dragon Prince had a higher chance of winning. But what exactly did the other party use in the end? He still did not understand. Let's go too. Kuan Pengzi also left. The last attack was also a threat to him. He had to increase his strength. Originally, he thought that his opponents were only a few princes. The others were nothing to be afraid of. Now, he understood that the universe was vast and had endless secrets and ancient inheritances. Even if he was not a prince, as long as he had enough talent and luck, he would be able to compete with them. He might even surpass them. After all, those who had become great emperors in the past had all risen from the dust. They could not be careless at all. It seemed that it was time to cultivate and break through to the great sage. Now that these top geniuses were at the peak of the sage realm, who could be the first to break through to the great sage? Then, who would be able to stand above the others and even take advantage of this opportunity to kill those powerful enemies? Therefore, he had to be the first to break through to the great sage. Let's go too. Yi Wudao turned around and left. The people from the Gu family also left. The other remote antiquity families also left. Some were excited, some were amazed, some were excited, and some were in despair. The people from the Purple Mansion sect looked extremely solemn. The strength that Lin Xian had displayed now made them feel like they were facing a great enemy. Once such a person completely matured, would they be able to fight against him in the future? It seemed like they had to contact the Thousand Dragon Court. Both sides had joined forces to kill each other as soon as possible. The Blue Clan, on the other hand, was full of despair. Previously, In order to please the Thousand Dragon Court, they had frantically suppressed the divine union. They had even wanted to kill Lin Xian. Now that Lin Xian had been crowned king and injured the Dragon Prince, he stood at the peak. Chapter 5083. Lin Xian's coronation shocked many people. Some families were ready to take action. On the other hand, the divine union was very excited when they returned. They weren't the only ones. The sects and families that supported the divine union were also very excited. Lin Xian's current performance had exceeded their expectations. If Lin Xian could take another step forward and reach the sage grade one day, then, these families would undergo earth-shattering changes. They would be able to stand at the peak within 10,000 years. How could they not be excited? News of what had happened spread quickly throughout the ancient city. On top of that, it also spread to other cities and regions with the Holy Abyss ancient city as the center. In an instant, the world was shocked. The names of Lin Wudi and Mad God once again resounded through the 9 heavens. Lin Xian was invited to the core region by the Savage Wilderness Patriarch as a guest. He chatted with the old man for a long time. The old man said that he would always support them and even support Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon to avenge Long Guang. Lin Xian said, "Senior, don't worry. One day, I will personally kill the Dragon Prince and avenge Long Guang." He just needed a good plan. The Dragon Prince could already use the 10,000 dragons portrait now. It wouldn't be easy to kill him with an extreme weapon. The Savage Wilderness Patriarch said, "There will always be a chance. You don't have to think about anything now. The most important thing is to raise your cultivation base as much as possible. Strive to enter the Great Sage grade as soon as possible. Now, you, the Dragon Prince, Kun Pengzi, Yi Wudao, Gu Feng, and the others are all at the peak of the Sage Ruler grade. One more step and you will be a great sage. If anyone could enter one step ahead, they would seize the opportunity and have the strength to surpass the others. Break through to the Great Sage grade." Lin Xian took a deep breath. He had to hurry. If he was the first to break through to the Great Sage grade, his chances of killing the Dragon Prince would be much higher. However, if the other party broke through first, they would be in danger. Lin Xian nodded. "Senior, don't worry. I will do my best to break through during this period." The Savage Great Sage said that you have to be careful of the 10,000 Dragons Court. Their Dragon Prince was defeated, and he would not let it go easily. Furthermore, I believe that the Great Emperor's inheritance that you displayed also had many weapons and trump cards. He had already been targeted by many people. Once you leave the Dao sect and the Sacred Abyss Tower, these people will act without restraint. At that time, it wouldn't just be the younger generation. Countless experts of the older generation would make a move. The sage and even the Lord of the Great Sage would take action. They were all existences that stood at the pinnacle. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He naturally knew how terrifying those people were. Back then, a peak great sage was enough to scare the monkey away. If a few more of them came, they might really be able to kill them. Then, should he not go out during this period of time and cultivate in silence? At their level, it was impossible to cultivate in silence. "I have an idea. Although it's dangerous, it's much safer than staying here. Senior, please speak. You should know that the entire buried Emperor Star is divided into many regions, collectively known as the 4 Seas and 8 Desolates. The continent we are on is called the Distant Light Continent. Apart from that, there are other continents. Now, I will send you to the other continent to train. Although there are many people in that place who have heard of your name, not many have actually seen you. It will be much safer for you to train outside. Leave this place temporarily." Lin Xian thought about it and nodded. "All right. Anyway, he had already fought with the Dragon Prince. Now that they were evenly matched, it wouldn't be easy to kill the other party here. It was better to go to other places to increase his strength and then come back to kill the other party. This way, he could avoid danger. He said, "Senior, please give me a few days to prepare. This time, I want to bring a few friends with me." "No problem. Go and prepare. When you are ready, take the token and come to me." Savage Ancestor gave Lin Xian a token. Lin Xian left and went to prepare. On the other continent was a land of flames. The flames here were extremely terrifying. Even the great sage was terrified here. At this moment, there were a few statues in the flames. They were formed by the law of fire. They were even more terrifying than the flames. Under these flame statues, there was a figure sitting cross-legged. It was a man with short fiery red hair. He was wearing a flame robe and had an extremely handsome face. At this moment, there were countless Qilin phantoms circling around his hand. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked over from afar. This middle-aged man was wearing battle armor and carrying a battle saber on his back. His appearance was like the descent of a fire god. Countless black cracks appeared in the surrounding void. It couldn't withstand his power at all. His speed was very fast. In a few steps, he arrived in front of him. Then, he stopped. "Qilin's son, there is news from Holy Abyss Ancient City," the armored man said in a deep voice. If there were other people here, they would be shocked. Because this man was none other than the emperor of the Qilin clan. The Qilin's son. The man in battle armor was a powerhouse from the Kirin clan. His strength was very terrifying. Hearing the armored man's words, the Qilin's son opened his eyes. There were divine flames flickering in his eyes. He asked, "How is it? Has the Dragon Prince been crowned?" The armored man nodded. "The Dragon Prince has been crowned." The Qilin's son sighed, "What a pity. I used poison to plot against him. I thought it could seriously injure him and kill him. Even his cultivation was crippled." He thought about how he launched a war against the spirit realm and took away the divine tree of life. Not only did his cultivation recover, but he also became a king. But it was fine. At least he was delayed by more than 10 years. It could be considered a result. The Qilin's son nodded. Back then, the Qilin clan was the one who poisoned the Dragon Prince. However, the armored man in front of him had an extremely solemn expression, as if there was something else. The Qilin's son asked, "What's wrong? Is there anything else?" The armored man said, "It's not just the Dragon Prince's coronation. There is something more important. There was news from Holy Abyss Ancient City that when the Dragon Prince was crowned, another person reached the peak of the Holy Abyss Tower. He was also crowned. Another person was crowned a king. Who was it?" This time, the Qilin's son was extremely surprised. Were there any other princes heading there? The armored man shook his head. "It's not a prince. The other party had obtained the great emperor's inheritance and half an extreme weapon. It could be said that he was a top genius. A young powerhouse." The Qilin's son was surprised, then asked, "What's his name?" Lin Wudi, Mad God, these were his two titles. How arrogant, how dare he use invincible as his name? How could the Dragon Prince tolerate it? As a prince, the Qilin's son naturally knew that every prince was arrogant and unruly. They didn't put anything in their eyes. When the Dragon Prince was crowned, someone else was crowning as well. This was a challenge to the Dragon Prince. The Dragon Prince would never allow it. The Dragon Prince was naturally angry, and a shocking battle broke out between the two of them. In the end, they even used an extreme weapon. However, in the end, the Dragon Prince was injured and his body was almost split open. What? The Qilin's son was stunned. Even if Lin Wude was a young powerhouse, if he really wanted to compete with the Dragon Prince, he still favored the Dragon Prince. However, the outcome was beyond his expectations. Chapter 5084. The news was absolutely true and had spread throughout the entire Holy Abyss ancient city. As for how he did it, no one knew. Apart from Lin Wude and the Dragon Prince, no one else knew. A mysterious trump card. The Qilin's son narrowed his eyes. Interesting. He hoped that he could fight with this guy one day. Is there anything else? The Qilin's son asked. The armored man said, yes. Apart from Lin Wude, another young expert has appeared. First, he fought with the Dragon Prince. Then, he fought with the Kunping son. He was not at a disadvantage at all. Some people speculated that he was also a the Arch. Who was this guy? The Qilin's son frowned. The situation in Holy Abyss ancient city was changing too quickly. Two young giants had appeared. I don't know. It said that the other party is a monkey who can use an iron rod to sweep the land. He's very strong and has the martial Dao heavenly eye. A monkey. The Qilin's son's eyes lit up as he recalled carefully. He shook his head. I don't know. Check on the monkey. If necessary, you can use the power of the entire family. He had to figure out its origin. At least, he had to know which the Arch his father was. The Qilin's son was born in the era when his father, the Qilin Emperor, swept the world. After that, he was sealed and had been in a deep slumber until now. Therefore, he had no idea what had happened in the tens of thousands of years. He could only check on it. However, as long as it was of the Arch, he should be able to find out. It seemed that apart from his old rivals, a new young giant had appeared. He had to hurry up. He had to prepare well. Next would be the Battle of the Supremes. Who? Who could become the #1 young Supremes? Who would have a high chance of becoming a the Arch? Every the Arch and princess was an enemy. Sooner or later, they would fight. Once they met, he would not hold back. Dao sect. After Lin Xian returned to the Divine Union, everyone cheered. During this time, the monkey and Yi Wudao also came to see him. The group drank and chatted. The monkey and Yi Wudao were already familiar with each other. They also exchanged blows to test each other. The monkey said, Brother Yi, you're also very strong. With a strong physique and the Arch scriptures, you'll also be a young supremacy in the future. Brother Monkey, you're the powerful one. Yi Wudao looked forward to it. The monkey's strength and arrogance, as well as the fact that he dared to attack the two imperial princes, had shocked and impressed him. On the other side, Bai Susu and Fu Hongye. The dark red dragon and the others looked at Lin Xian. Bai Susu, speaking of which, are you really going to leave this place? Lin Xian nodded. Last time, the Dragon Prince was able to attack Long Guang, and this time, he can attack me. Therefore, I have to leave for a period of time. I will return only after I break through and become a great sage. I also have to hurry up and cultivate. The dark red dragon clenched its dragon claws. I have to break through as soon as possible and beat up that Dragon Prince. Little martial uncle will go with you. Fu Hongye, Lu Yuan, and the others asked. Lin Xian shook his head. Stay here and cultivate well. The Divine Union needs someone to preside over it. Wushuang City has just been re-established, so all of this needs to be presided over. Susu, I'll leave the Divine Union to you. Hongyi, Lu Yuan, the two of you will continue to manage Peerless City. Don't worry, Bai Susu said. Her father was elder Bai, so if she stayed here, she would be protected. No one would dare to touch her. As for the dark red dragon and the toad, they would leave with Lin Xian. Brother Ho, I'm preparing to leave. What about you? Are you coming with me? Monkey said, no, I still have many places to explore. Brother Lin, we will meet again eventually. At that time, we will see who is stronger. Lin Xian smiled. He said, but before that, I have something to do. Brother Monkey, are you interested? Sun Qitian was surprised. Let's hear it. Lin Xian said, besides the Dragon Prince, there is another genius in the Dragon Palace, Long Ao. Although I destroyed his Dao heart previously, he didn't die. I'm guessing that the incident with Long Guang was also caused by someone from the Dragon Sea tribe. Therefore, I don't intend to let him go. I'm going to kill him. Sun Qitian was interested. Count me in. Yi Wudao said, I want to take a look too. The dark red dragon and the toad also jumped over. Good thing, let's go too. Lin Xian said, me, Brother Monkey, and Wudao, the three of us will go. Just wait for the good news. Alright, damn it, this emperor will definitely catch up to you. There was still a gap between the dark red dragon and Lin Xian, Monkey, and the others. However, with the dark red dragon's talent and bloodline, he would become a big shot sooner or later. It seemed that he had to use that power. The dark red dragon's eyes burst out with light. He turned and entered the palace in the distance. What was he busy with? Lin Xian, Monkey, and Wudao, the three of them were ready to move. Lin Xian took out the void beast. At this moment, the void beast was much more powerful than it had been before. Because Lin Xian directly placed him in the sword world for him to cultivate. The void beast was like a treasure in the sword world. The power of the sword world provided him, and he had long broken through to become the great sage. At this moment, his void power was not weaker than the Gu family's powerhouses. Lin Xian had already sent people to keep an eye on Long Ao's whereabouts. And he knew that after the people of the Dragon Sea clan came to the ancient city, they temporarily stayed in the Blue clan. In other words, Long Ao was also in the Blue clan's territory. Thinking of this, he patted the void beast. Go to the Blue clan. The void beast's body swayed, and a terrifying spatial power enveloped the three of them. Then, it disappeared. Blue clan. At this moment, they were entertaining a group of important guests. They were the powerhouses from the Dragon Sea. The patriarch of the Blue clan personally accompanied them. The Dragon Sea Lord also came. His expression was not very good. The Dragon Prince's injury made his heart heavy. More importantly, his son Long Ao's Dao heart had been destroyed by someone. Now, he was almost like a cripple. However, his cultivation was not crippled. As long as he could rebuild his Dao heart, he would immediately become a top powerhouse. So there was still hope. Lin Wudi. Thinking of this name, the Dragon Sea Lord's expression turned ugly. It was the other party who destroyed Long Ao's Dao heart. He stood up and said with a few elders of the Dragon Sea. We are going to make a trip to the 10,000 Dragons Court to see if there is any way. Long Ao will temporarily stay in the Blue clan. I hope you can take good care of him. Fellow Daoist Long, don't worry. Young Master Long Ao is here. I guarantee that nothing will happen to him. If anything happens to him, you can ask me. The patriarch of the Blue clan said confidently. What could go wrong in their headquarters? And no one would dare to make a move now, right? Alright, you all protect Long Ao. After he finished saying those words, the Dragon Sea Master left with the two elders. The rest of the dragon tribe experts of Dragon Sea stayed behind. The patriarch of the Blue Clan continued to entertain them warmly. Although the Blue Clan was powerful, they were still much weaker than the dragons. The relationship between the Dragon Sea and the 10,000 Dragons Court was even more unusual. Pleasing the people of the Dragon Sea was equivalent to pleasing the 10,000 Dragons Court. The patriarch of the Blue Clan naturally understood this logic. He said, "Don't worry, I know that young Master Long Ao was injured by that Lin Wudi. Our Blue Clan will send people to keep an eye on him." Chapter 5085. Elder Long Yi, please take a seat. The patriarch of the Blue Clan invited a middle-aged man over. This was an elder of the Dragon Sea clan. His strength and status were extremely terrifying. Elder Long Yi sat down, and the others in the hall also sat down one after another. The patriarch of the Blue Clan said, "Elder Long Yi, don't worry. We've already sent people to investigate. As long as that Lin Xian comes out, we'll know." Long Yi snorted coldly. That Lin Wudi was too arrogant. No matter how strong he was only a young man. Could he make an enemy out of the entire Dragon Sea? Not to mention, he had offended the Dragon Prince this time. Just watch, he was dead meat. This guy didn't know how to hide his strength and bide his time. Even if he had the strength and talent of the Emperor, he had to hide it. He was different from the Dragon Prince. The Dragon Prince had the Emperor clan as his backing. And what did that guy have? He didn't have any powerful family backing him. Now that he had displayed such terrifying strength, he could only be killed. If I were him, I would hide and wait until I reached the peak of the Great Sage before coming out. At that time, who in the 4 seas and 8 wastelands would be my match? Of course, how could that Lin Wudi be compared to you, Elder Long Yi? The people from the blue race around him laughed. Because the other party was right. With strength and background, you could be arrogant. But with strength and no background, no matter how arrogant you were, you would probably be immediately slapped to death. No one would let such a person with potential grow up. Long Yi said coldly. If he dares to appear, I can slap him to death. I will let him know the consequences of offending our Dragon Sea clan. That is, no matter how strong he is no match for us experts. The surrounding dragons also snorted coldly. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. Who wants to slap me to death? At this moment, a cold voice was heard. The people in the hall were stunned. While these people were gathering and chatting, Lin Xian and the other two had already arrived. They directly locked onto Long Ao's location. That place was heavily guarded, but how could it stop these 3 people? The Void Beast was directly teleported into the hole. There were a few people around Long Ao who were carefully taking care of him. All of a sudden, they turned their heads around. Who was it? Long Ao also raised his head. His eyes were still grayish-white. It was clear that his Dao heart had yet to recover. However, as he was once an expert, his instincts told him that there was danger. An iron rod fell and smashed the few dragons who were taking care of them into a bloody mist. Meanwhile, Leaf Dao Denier waved his hand, unleashing boundless light. They formed a formation that enveloped the world. Lin Xian and the other 2 walked out. It's you. When Long Ao saw this, his body trembled. Damn it, how dare you come here? Do you want to die? Men, kill him. He roared crazily. It was this brat in front of him who had caused him to become like this. He had to kill him. However, Leaf Dao Denier shook his head and said, "It's useless. You can't make a sound. Damn it. Leaf Dao Denier, are you going to help this brat? Do you know the consequences of offending me? The Dragon Prince has been crowned. If you offend me, the Dragon Prince will not let you go. Hearing this, Leaf Dao Denier snorted coldly. Lin Xian also had a strange expression. He said, "Didn't anyone tell you about the coronation? What could happen during the coronation? The Dragon Prince would definitely be crowned successfully." Long Ao roared crazily. Sun Qitian snorted coldly. What an idiot. Is it the coronation? I fought with the Dragon Prince, and the other party didn't do anything. Isn't he unable to do anything to me? Hearing this, Long Ao went crazy. The monkey in front of him could compete with the Dragon Prince. Moreover, it sounded like the two sides were evenly matched. What a joke. The Dragon Prince was an emperor. What was this monkey? Could he compare to the emperor? The other party was crazy. Sun Qitian snorted coldly. Not to mention me, Brother Lin is even more amazing. He fought with the Dragon Prince and directly injured him. What did you say? Long Ao really went crazy this time. Lin Xian injured the Dragon Prince. Damn it, how could it be? No one told him. He didn't believe it. These people were all liars. They were all here to break his Dao heart. In fact, it was normal for no one to tell him. Previously, Long Ao's confidence had collapsed because of the blow and setback. If he was told that Lin Xian had defeated the Dragon Prince, then the other party's confidence would probably never recover for the rest of his life. Therefore, the Dragon Sea Lord sealed the news and didn't allow anyone to tell Long Ao. Now that Long Ao heard it, he went crazy. Lin Xian looked at the other party and shook his head coldly. You are really miserable. What's the difference between you and trash now? Let me tell you another piece of news. The current me has already been crowned as a king. My current status and strength are not weaker than the Dragon Prince at all. Do you still dare to be my enemy? Long Ao's body trembled. He roared crazily. Impossible. Liar, you want to destroy my Dao heart. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Ignorant ant, I'll let you feel it. It released a trace of aura. At the same time, its eyes had a terrifying light. It looked forward. At this moment, Long Ao's body trembled. He realized that the person he was facing didn't seem to be a young man. Instead, it was a great emperor, a high and mighty god. This was impossible. He was terrified. He had felt this feeling before on the Dragon Prince's body. It made him despair and unable to resist. Now, he felt it again on the other party's body. Could it be that this kid was really on par with the Dragon Prince? No. He was crazy. At this moment, Sun Qitian also walked out. His body also emitted a pressure. Long Ao spat out a mouthful of blood. This force made him unable to resist, and he could only look up. This monkey also had the aura of a crown prince. Damn these two young sovereigns. Even the aura of Yi Wudao's body had become terrifying, far surpassing his. Long Ao was completely crazy. Previously, he didn't take Yi Wudao and Lin Xian seriously. But now, the gap between the two was too big. He couldn't accept it at all. Puff! I don't believe it. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. The light in his eyes. Before disappearing, he was angered to death. Was he dead? Lin Xian was taken aback as well. This fella was really petty. He could be angered to death. Sun Qitian also sensed it and shook his head. His soul had disappeared. What a piece of trash. Yi Wudao also frowned. Long Ao had always been smooth sailing and hadn't experienced any major setbacks. But right now, he was going to take the other party's life. Well, it saved us the trouble of doing it. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, the power of reincarnation enveloped the other party's body. Then, he was taken away. With a flash, the void beast appeared, enveloping them and teleporting them away. At the same time, at the place where the Dragon Sea clan worshipped soul jade tablets. In front of them, a soul jade tablet cracked and shattered. The faces of the Dragon Sea clan changed. What was going on? Chapter 5086. Such a change stunned the people of the Dragon Sea clan. Their expressions changed drastically as they quickly informed the Dragon Sea Lord. These people moved quickly. On the other side, those people in the Blue clan's main hall were stunned. Who is it? Angry shouts rang out one after another. Then, soul power that blotted out the sky and covered the earth charged forward. The surrounding void kept shattering. Especially the body of the dragons, an extremely terrifying aura emerged. The people of the Blue clan were shocked because the one who attacked wasn't Long Yi, but a young man beside him. They didn't expect the dragons to have such a terrifying expert. The genius of the dragon said coldly. Come out, or I'll tear you to pieces. In the next moment, a sneer rang out in the void. You don't even know where I am, and you dare to say such big words. The void cracked open, and a few figures walked out. It's you. The surrounding people were stunned. They saw a familiar figure. Lin Xian, Lin Wudi. Damn it, how dare you come here? What do you want? Angry shouts rang out one after another. The people of the Blue clan were shocked. They didn't expect that they didn't have any news of the other party's arrival. Previously, they had boasted to the Dragon Sea clan that as long as the other party left the Dao sect, they would be the first to know. Now, the other party's actions had slapped them in the face. The young man with the appearance of the dragons also had a cold light in his eyes. She looked young because of the pill she had taken and the secret technique she had cultivated. His real age was no longer young. Although he couldn't be considered an elder, he could be considered a member of the younger generation. According to his identity, he was Long Ao's uncle. At this moment, he looked at Lin Xian in shock. Was this the person who had been crowned king? An existence that could contend against the Dragon Emperor. The power of the other party's body seemed to have solidified his dragon blood. Too strong. However, an extremely sharp killing intent burst out from his eyes. He wasn't from the younger generation, and his strength couldn't be measured by the younger generation. Therefore, he was confident that he could defeat the other party and even suppress the other party. If he did it, then the Dragon Prince would definitely thank him. Thinking of this, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. Lin Wudi, there was a path to heaven, but you didn't take it. There was no door to hell, but you came in. Now, kneel and accept your death. As he spoke, he sent a palm strike over. This strike shook heaven and earth, turning into a great mountain that descended from the sky. His face was filled with flames that reached the heavens, biting cold. And, with just you. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with disdain. Even Long Huangzi was defeated by me, let alone you. With a wave of his sleeve, countless sword chi flew out and turned into a terrifying sea of sword chi. Every sword chi was extremely sharp. The monstrous sword chi seemed to be able to tear the entire world apart. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Countless people were shocked. Countless arrays lit up in the hall to resist this power. The people from the Blue clan had cold looks on their faces. They prepared to attack together. However, Long Yi waved his hand to stop him. There was no need to worry, the one who attacked was not from the younger generation. He was Long Ao's uncle, so he believed in his strength. So that was the case. The people from the Blue clan laughed. For such a person, the others had cultivated for thousands of years. Coupled with the bloodline of the dragons, they would definitely be able to suppress Lin Wudi. After the attack, Yi Wudao looked at the battlefield and narrowed his eyes. This person was not ordinary. Monkey, who was beside him, snorted coldly. It was nothing. The blood qi in his body was at least 4,000 years old. He was not from the younger generation. Otherwise, he would have been killed by this punch. Kid, you're interesting. You can actually take my move. The man shouted coldly. Then try this move of mine again. He waved his fists, turning them into a dragon head that charged over. He wanted to tear the sword qi that filled the sky. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light as he snorted coldly. His palm turned into a demonic seal. Demonic seal. The black seal smashed down and shattered. The void. The dragon head was smashed into pieces. Not only that, Long Ao's uncle's body shook, and in the next moment, he was torn apart. His soul was also torn into pieces in an instant. A miserable cry rang out, and the surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? Was this person dead? Impossible. The other elders of the dragons suddenly stood up, each of them dumbfounded. The people of the Blue Clan were also dumbfounded. Even Long Yi was stunned. He knew the strength of the person who attacked, and it was definitely far beyond the younger generation. But now, he was insta-killed by someone using a large square seal. Could it be that the gap was really that big? Or was it that they were careless and underestimated the enemy? If it was the second, then they could still accept it. But if the gap was really too big, then they could not accept it. How strong was this Lin Wudi? Such an ant was worthy of fighting with him. Lin Xian retracted the demonic seal and said indifferently. His gaze swept in all directions. Those who were enveloped by his gaze felt their scalps go numb, and one by one they kept retreating. This gaze seemed to want to split them in half. The people of the dragons gritted their teeth. Long Yi's face was even more solemn. Previously, they were still dissatisfied with the Dragon Prince's injury and defeat. But now, they finally knew that the person in front of them did not rely on luck, but true strength. The other party's strength was beyond their imagination. What are you doing here? The leader of the Blue Clan shouted coldly. Lin Xian said, I'm here to inform you that Long Ao has been sent to hell by me. What? The surrounding people were stunned, and the faces of the Blue Clan's people changed drastically. When the Dragon Sea Lord left, he specially instructed them to take good care of Long Ao. They agreed confidently because this was their base camp. No one could come here to hurt Long Ao. But now, Lin Xian actually told them that Long Ao had fallen. This was impossible. The people of the Blue Clan roared crazily and quickly went to investigate. Soon, the news spread out. Not good, young Master Long Ao had fallen. When these words came out, the people of the dragons went crazy, and the people of the Blue Clan despaired. Long Yi was furious and shouted, You're courting death. Long Ao's Dao heart was destroyed, but there was still a possibility of recovery. But now, everything was over. He could not bear it. The wrath of the dragon, the roar of the sea. With a roar, the entire hall turned into an ocean. A huge whirlpool of seawater directly enveloped Lin Xian. In the whirlpool, 36 dragon shadows appeared, forming a power that was enough to destroy everything. The first move was a fatal blow, which was enough to show how angry Long Yi was. Want to kill me? With just you? Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying light, and monstrous flames appeared on his body. He used the 9-yang divine body to the extreme, burning for me. With a furious roar, the phantoms of 9 suns enveloped down. They bombarded the seawater, and the seawater quickly evaporated. Chapter 5087. Long Yi was shocked. He couldn't imagine that the other party's flames would be so terrifying. To be able to easily block his ultimate skill. What shocked him even more was that the other party's sword was invincible. Even he was startled by this. Subconsciously, they dodged to the side. He dodged the sword. However, his expression became unsightly. He dodged, indicating that he was afraid of the other party. Sure enough, Lin Xian's lips curled into a disdainful smile. Long Hai, even the older generation can't do it. Damn brat, you're courting death. Long Yi snorted coldly. I'm not good at this kind of ultimate skill. I'll let you know how powerful I am. His eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying light of the sea. Sea dragon eyes. A pair of eyes that were different. Everyone felt the suppression of their souls. What a terrifying soul force. This was an eye technique. Long Yi was an eye technique expert. Was he going to use such an eye technique to instantly kill the other party? Sensing that extremely powerful eye technique, Lin Xian's expression was strange. Eye technique. He wasn't weak either. His eye technique was the heavenly secret divine eye. He had absorbed enough reincarnation power in hell, and now it had become terrifying. Fine, I'll let you know what a true divine eye is. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with an extremely terrifying golden light. The moment this golden gaze appeared, it swept across the void. Everyone was once again struck by fear. The people of the Blue Clan were also shocked. They didn't expect that other than his strong physique, his eye technique was also so terrifying. Behind him, the monkey felt this power and laughed. Brother Lin's eye technique isn't weaker than my martial Dao heavenly eye at all. I think this dragon's people are going to be unlucky. The reincarnation power in Lin Xian's eyes transformed into a huge mountain and suppressed the blue sea in front of him. The two eye techniques collided in the air, erupting with an extremely terrifying aura. Retreat. The people of the Blue Clan quickly retreated and tried to block. This invisible force, even a formation might not be able to block it. Many people's blood boiled. Some people's faces turned pale and directly fainted. There were also some who vomited blood. Their faces were filled with fear. The patriarch of the Blue Clan stared at the sky. He didn't know what was going on. Could this move kill Lin Wudi? There were screams in the sky. The patriarch of the Blue Clan was overjoyed. Great, Lin Wudi was injured. But soon, he realized that it wasn't. Lin Xian stood there with his hands clasped behind his back. His eyes shone with a piercingly cold light, making him look like a god. The one who screamed was Long Yi. How was this possible? The patriarch of the Blue Clan. Long Yi was a true peerless expert of the Dragon Clan. He had used his ultimate eye technique, but he was still injured. How was this possible? Long Yi also did not dare to believe it. However, the power contained within that mountain peak was extremely frightening. It was as if he wanted to reincarnate his soul. He was injured and kept vomiting blood. He was really crazy. Could it be that the absolute art that the other party had obtained was the reincarnation emperor? But that shouldn't be the case. The emperor's divine ability that the other party had used before all carried extremely strong demonic chi. It should be from the demon realm. But why would the other party use such a terrifying eye technique? Did this person have any weaknesses? And even the Prince of the Dragons was defeated by me. Do you think you can fight against me? Long Yi roared. He turned to look at the patriarch of the Blue Clan and shouted crazily. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and mobilize all the power of your clan to take him down. don't kill him. I want him alive. I want to find out the secret of his body. The young man in front of them had too many secrets. They had to figure it out. The patriarch of the Blue Clan came back to his senses. He roared at the sky and attacked. He attacked even more aggressively. However, spatial power appeared around Lin Xian and the others, and their bodies slowly grew fainter. Did they want to leave? At this moment, another powerful expert attacked from afar. The people of the Blue Clan were really angry. They sealed the world in ice. Lin Xian's face was gloomy. You guys, don't hold back. Lin Xian attacked with the heaven-swallowing jar. A black vortex swept forward. The monkey roared angrily, and his iron rod soared into the sky. It turned into millions of miles and shattered the void. Yi Wudao attacked with the phantom of an immortal king. His fists swept in all directions. The palaces shattered. The three of them were really too strong. They all used emperor-level divine abilities. The sky fell and the earth cracked, blocking the attacks in the distance. At the same time, their figures disappeared. At this moment, several terrifying peak great sage of the Blue Clan arrived. They smashed the void, wanting to stop them. But it was too late. Damn it, did they let him escape? The Blue Clan roared crazily. The four peak great sage attacked together. However, not long after, they returned, shaking their heads. That brat used the power of space to escape. What was going on? The patriarch of the Blue Clan was also surprised. Could it be that the Gu clan was secretly helping him? Long Yi roared crazily. No matter who it was, they had to kill him. Lin Wudi, monkey, Yi Wudao, I won't let you off. Our Dragon Sea clan will let you know what despair is. When the Blue Clan heard this, they sighed in their hearts. Some people shook their heads. Although the Dragon Sea clan was strong, were these three weak? Lin Xian and the monkey were definitely at the emperor level. Yi Wudao didn't use his full strength, but he also cultivated an emperor's scripture. Moreover, Yi Wudao had a great emperor's family behind him. Would the Dragon Sea clan really dare to start an all-out war with the other party? So this time, Long Ao had died for nothing. Quickly send a message to the Dragon Sea clan master. The news spread out in an instant. The Dragon Sea clan master in the 10,000 Dragon dynasty quickly returned after receiving the news. After returning, he roared at the sky. Damn it, Long Ao had died. Even his corpse was gone. It was taken away by the other party. Kill. He led the experts of the Dragon Sea clan and quickly charged toward the Dao sect. At this moment, everyone in Holy Abyss City looked up. Heavens, were the dragons going to start a war with the Dao sect? Hold it right there. What do you want? The people of the Dao sect frowned. The other party was brimming with killing intent, directly charging into their path. Was he not putting them in his eyes? Although they had the support of the old ancestor, it didn't mean that the dragons were above them. Where was Lin Xian? Tell him to come out and die. The Dragon Sea clan master roared. In the ancient city, countless people had rushed over to watch. When they heard this, they were even more shocked. Lin Xian. The other party was here for Lin Xian. Could it be that the Dragon Prince wanted to kill Lin Xian? The elders of the Dao sect frowned. Lin Xian was equally important. He had the support of an old ancestor. Naturally, they wouldn't let the other party get hurt. Why are you looking for Lin Xian? I want him dead. I want him to go to the 18 levels of hell. The Dragon Sea clan master roared. Chapter 5088. When the people of the Dao heard this, they frowned even more. He wanted to kill Lin Xian. It was even more impossible for them to let him enter. Whoever stops me will go to hell. An extremely terrifying killing intent burst forth from Long High Lord's body and swept through the 9 heavens. Everyone's faces changed. The people of the Tao were also facing a great enemy. Do you want to start a war with the Tao sect? How about starting a war? Long High Lord was incomparably domineering. Behind him was the 10,000 Dragon Court and the Dragon Prince. He was fearless of everything. But at this moment, the void broke open and a cold shout rang out. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Then, a fist punched out, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to crack. In the distance, the people watching the battle trembled. It was too terrifying. It was another peak great sage. Long High Lord roared and struck out with a monstrous dragon claw to fight against it. The two collided and the power dissipated in the sky at the same time. Long High Lord's blood boiled and an extremely terrifying light burst forth from his eyes. He stared at the front with a death stare. A pair of large hands tore open the void and the savage wilderness ancestor walked out. If you dare to take another step forward, don't blame me for smashing you into pieces. Savage wilderness ancestor was incomparably domineering. Firstly, this was the territory of the Tao and the people brought by the other party were not enough to look at. Secondly, although both parties were at the peak of the great sage, he had been in this realm for many years. The other party was still far from being comparable to him. Long High Lord was so angry that he vomited blood. As the leader of a race, when had he been looked down upon by others like this? But he also knew that this was not a place for him to be impudent. He said coldly, Lin Xian killed my son, Long Ao. Long Ao is also a prince of your Tao. Aren't you going to ask about it? Lin Xian has already broken the rules. I cannot do anything, but your Tao sect has to punish him. The moment these words came out, the surrounding people were shocked. It couldn't be, right? There was actually such a thing. It was too unbelievable. Long Ao's Tao heart had been crippled by Lin Xian and now he was killed by Lin Xian. No wonder Long High Lord was so angry. The savage lord said coldly. Do you have any proof for your words? Dragon Sea Master said, of course there is. Have Lin Xian come out. I will confront him. You're too late. Lin Xian has already left the Tao. Left? Did he run away out of guilt? Where did he go? Or do you want to protect him? Dragon Sea Master roared furiously. The savage lord snorted coldly. What? Are you doubting me? His body exuded an extremely terrifying power that caused the surrounding sky to crumble and the earth to crack. The members of the dragon tribe also began to tremble in fear. This aura was really too terrifying. He was above them. It made it impossible for them to block. Clan leader, the other party is too powerful. Why don't we leave first and ask old ancestor fantasy world to investigate? Someone beside him reminded him. Dragon Sea Lord's face was cold. He waved his sleeve and turned to leave. After returning, he invited old ancestor fantasy world. The answer the fantasy world ancestor gave him was that the Tao sect could no longer sense Lin Xian's aura. He was nowhere to be seen in the entire Holy Yuan ancient city. They naturally believed old ancestor fantasy world's words. Dragon Sea Lord roared. Damn it, he actually left. He must have used the teleportation array in the Tao. Quickly go and investigate. Even if he fled to the ends of the earth, I will find him and suppress him. Dragon Sea's people moved quickly. A few elders of the Dragon Sea clan rushed over to inform them. However, they discovered that the Dragon Sea Master had already received the news. Furthermore, to their astonishment, the Dragon Sea Master had already received the news. Dragon Sea Lord didn't catch the enemy at all. He was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. They were dumbfounded. After Lin Xian and the others killed Long Ao, they left the Blue Clan. After leaving, he left with Monkey, Yi Wudao, and the others. They would meet again after breaking through to the Great Sage. Then, he teleported back to the Divine Union and brought the Toad and the Dark Red Dragon to find the Savage Lord. He directly used the Super Teleportation Array and left this continent. Underworld. Undead Race. On this day, countless powerhouses moved out. Their expressions were solemn, and their eyes seemed to be filled with awe and excitement. "Is he here?" someone whispered. An elder nodded his head. "Soon." After about half a day, a low voice rang out in the distance. The people of the undead race all looked up at the sky. The clan leader of the undead race even personally welcomed him. Behind him stood many elders of the undead race. If the other families and sects of the underworld saw such a grand scene, they would definitely be shocked. As an ancient race, the undead race was extremely powerful. Who were they welcoming now? A war chariot descended from the sky. The war chariot was very strange. Half of it was black, and the other half was white. It seemed to have turned into yin and yang. The war chariot stopped when it was a meter away from the ground. A terrifying aura swept out in all directions. The clan leader of the undead race walked forward and smiled. "Fairy Yunshi, we have been waiting for you for a long time." 4 figures stood around the war chariot. The 4 great sages all wore masks, and their auras were just as terrifying. At this moment, they opened the door of the war chariot and a woman walked out. This woman was even more strange. Half of her face was wholly like an angel, while the other half was terrifying like a demon. As soon as she appeared, many young geniuses of the undead race were shocked. Their expressions were filled with fear. Even the elders were stunned. The clan leader of the undead race said, "Fairy Yunue, this is." The woman in front said coldly, "Don't worry, I have reached a critical moment in cultivating my mystique. That's why I have such an impression." "I see." The clan leader of the undead race naturally knew about this woman's identity and background. Hence, he was not surprised. He said, "Fairy Yunue, please." As the clan leader of the undead race, he was so respectful to her. The geniuses of the undead race were also confused. This woman was also from the younger generation. Why was their clan leader so afraid of her? As for her background, they had heard a little about it. The number 1 genius of their clan, the Undead Abyss, once had a marriage agreement. The other party was a genius of an ancient race. But later on, the Undead Abyss died unexpectedly. The undead race informed the other party of this news. The marriage agreement could not continue. Now that the person from the ancient race had arrived, this woman should be the fiancée of the Undead Abyss. Yunyu walked into the main hall. The 4 guards who followed her stood outside to guard her. The clan leader of the undead race and a few core elders walked in. The others were all blocked outside. After entering, the clan leader of the undead race sighed. "We are very sorry about what happened to the Undead Abyss." Yunyue's expression turned cold. "Who killed him? Although we are not married, he is still my fiancé. I will avenge whoever killed him. Our twin of destiny race will never let our enemies go." As she spoke, the light on her body became even more terrifying. Chapter 5089. This scene caused the surrounding elders to suck in a breath of cold air. It had to be said that this woman was really terrifying. The undead spirit patriarch seemed to have seen hope. He said that the person who killed Lin Yuan was also a young genius. His name was Lin Wudi. Lin Wudi. Yun Xie frowned. What an arrogant name. What was the background of this person? Did he know his identity and background? She asked. The undead spirit patriarch said that he didn't know. Previously, he belonged to the Killing Temple. Later, he fell out with the Sand Kill Temple and left the underworld. Yunyu frowned even more after hearing this. She clapped her hands lightly and said, "Come in." The door of the hall opened, and there were 4 guards outside. One of them walked in. This guard was wearing a bronze mask. After he entered, he asked, "Princess, what's the matter?" Yunyu asked, "Have you heard of Lin Wudi?" The guard's eyes flickered. He had heard of this name recently. Oh. The surrounding people were stunned. Yunyu explained in detail. Not long ago, news came from St. Yuan ancient city that the Dragon Prince had been crowned successfully. At the same time, another person had been crowned king on the same day. He was also from the Path sect, and his name was Lin Wudi. The Path sect had crowned 2 kings in one day. This news not only spread throughout the ancient city, but also in all directions. Even many people in the various worlds had heard the news. After the undead spirit race heard this, they gasped. Lin Wudi had already been crowned king. Could he fight against the imperial prince? This wasn't good news for them. Yunyu also asked, "Other than this Lin Wudi, do you know anyone else?" The guard shook his head. He could kill the number 1 genius of the spirit race, and his strength was close to that of the imperial prince. Therefore, the most likely person was Lin Wudi. After hearing this, Yunyu took a deep breath. An extremely sharp light burst out from her eyes. A crowned king. Humph, can you be arrogant just because of that? My Destiny Gemini race can control your life. Unless you have an emperor race as your background, you will die without a doubt. It seemed that even if Lin Xian was crowned king and swept across the 9 heavens, the Destiny Gemini race didn't seem to intend to let him go. The undead spirit race clenched their fists. It seemed that they could only rely on this woman in front of them. Following that, the members of the Twin of Destiny clan left. After they left the underworld, Yunyu's eyes shone with a sharp light. Search for Lin Wudi's whereabouts and act as soon as there's a chance. Don't kill him. Keep him alive and suppress him. For this person to be able to compete with the Crown Prince, he must have countless secrets. 2. A vortex appeared in the air, too. Feeling the aura here, he was amazed. They had left the distant continent, far away from the wholly distant ancient city. They arrived at another continent. This was also the buried Emperor's star, called the Yuheng continent. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand. The toad and the dark red dragon followed. Little White also jumped out, looking very happy. The group flew into the distance. A few days later, they stopped. They found that there was a kind of jade in the forest ahead. It was something they had never seen before. This kind of jade was similar to a divine crystal. It was crystal clear and contained powerful energy. No wonder it was called the Yuheng continent. It turned out that it had such power. Lin Xian waved his hand and held a piece of jade in his hand. He felt the information. It seemed that each continent had a different source of power. This new power was able to cause the power in his body to boil. This time, he wanted to break through to the great sage on the Yuheng continent. Then, he would kill his way back and fight with the Dragon Prince. Kid, watch me. At this moment, the dark red dragon walked out. He waved his hand and took out a disc array, looking for something. During this period, the dark red dragon was very mysterious. He seemed to have been affected by Lin Xian and the Dragon Prince being conferred the title of king. The dark red dragon was also cultivating very hard. However, his cultivation did not increase. He seemed to be researching formations. Lin Xian looked at him curiously. What kind of new formation are you researching? The dark red divine dragon said proudly. Kid, watch carefully. My cultivation is not weaker than yours at all. When the time comes, I will also suppress a prince. As he spoke, the disc array in his hand spun quickly. There seemed to be a dragon image circling around it. Let's go. The dragon head pointed in a direction. The dark red dragon flew quickly. Lin Xian and the toad followed him in puzzlement. They flew for about half a day. After a while, the dark red dragon stopped. There was a continuous mountain range in front of them. The dark red dragon kept moving. When they were at the 24th mountain range, he said, This is the place. The toad said, Ruffian dragon, what are you doing? Is there a treasure here? Little guy, check it out. Lin Xian also looked at Little White. When it came to finding treasures, Little White was an expert. However, Little White was confused. Yeah, there's nothing delicious here. Damn, Ruffian dragon, can you do it? The toad asked. The dark red dragon said, What does this little monkey know? He's looking for spirit fruits. I'm also looking for treasures, but Little White is not interested. I'm looking for spirit veins of heaven and earth. Do you know what I just used? Searching for dragons and fixing veins. This was a powerful technique. When practiced to the extreme, one could be called a heavenly master. With the power of heaven and earth, it could suppress everything. When the time comes, I'll be Heavenly Master Dragon. To be more specific, Lin Xian was also puzzled. The dark red dragon explained in detail. Lin Xian was also shocked. It turned out that this was a power that surpassed formations. At their level, the array formation they set up was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian had even seen the formations of emperors. It was even more terrifying. However, there was another way to set up formations. That was to use mountains and rivers, spirit veins, and dragon veins as proof. They used heaven and earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars as their power to set up formations. When these people cultivated to a terrifying level, they were called Earth Masters. When they were more terrifying, they were called Heavenly Masters. A Heavenly Master was enough to make countless families of the remote antiquity panic. The dark red dragon was using such a method. Lin Xian was also surprised. He didn't expect the dark red dragon to have such a powerful technique. Are you looking for a dragon vein? Lin Xian asked. The dark red dragon pointed at the mountain peak below. No, it's a jade vein. Didn't you find a piece of jade before? There's a complete jade vein here. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and do it. The toad couldn't wait anymore. Its eyes were red. Chapter 5090. The group of people flew down the mountain peak. When they arrived at the bottom of the mountain peak, they were stunned. Because they discovered that there were more people rushing over from afar. The auras of these people were very terrifying, and there were quite a few of them. It seemed that they should be a terrifying force. The leader was a short-haired man. After he arrived, he frowned and stared at Lin Xian and the other two. Who are you people? He asked coldly. The toad snorted coldly. Who are you people? We were the first to discover this place. As soon as these words came out, the people on the other side all pulled out their swords. Could it be that the secret was discovered by them? In that case, I can't let you live. The short-haired man in the lead waved his hand and said, "Your faces look very unfamiliar. You shouldn't be from this area, right? I'll give you a chance. Quickly disappear from my sight and I can spare your lives." Otherwise, he didn't continue speaking, but an extremely cold light appeared in his eyes. That was the power of thunder and lightning. It was extremely terrifying. This short-haired man's origin was extremely extraordinary. He was from the Thunder Clan and had mastered the Thunder Dao. Moreover, his bloodline was very terrifying. It was said that when he was born, he was accompanied by a thundercloud. The people of the Thunder Clan thought that this was a phenomenon of heaven and earth, and that he would shine in the future. Therefore, the patriarch of the Thunder Clan personally gave him the name Lei Yun. Lei Yun had shown great talent since he was young. He was able to control terrifying thunder at a young age. It was not difficult for him to fight those of a higher level, and very few people of the same level were his match. He grew up like this. He had never been defeated and became a top genius of his generation. At this moment, his eyes were emitting thunder. In his opinion, the three people in front of him would definitely kneel down obediently and leave. Because the other party couldn't withstand the power of his thunder at all. However, he was destined to be disappointed. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Was the other party threatening him? The other party's eyes were filled with thunder. Did he want him to submit and kneel? Humph. A trace of golden light appeared in his eyes, and with the power of reincarnation, he also charged over. It collided with the other party's thunder. In an instant, a large crack was torn open in the void. Lei Yun's expression changed. He realized that the other party didn't kneel down, but instead attacked him. The other party's murderous gaze caused his soul to tremble. He roared angrily and wanted to retaliate, but he realized that the other party's soul was much more terrifying than he had imagined. The power of that gaze was like 100,000 mountains, causing him to crumble. Bang! A low voice rang out. Lei Yun quickly retreated. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his eyes were bloodshot. What's going on? The faces of the people behind him changed greatly, and they hurriedly supported him. You're hurt. Damn it, you dare to make a move. They roared crazily as they stared at Lin Xian. At the same time, they were shocked. They knew Lei Yun's strength. Could it be that he was careless? Lei Yun's expression turned even uglier. How could this be? How could the other party injure him so easily? Damn it! Who was the other party? One had to know that he was the top genius of the Thundercloud tribe and had never been defeated. Although he was careless before, it was impossible for him to lose so miserably. Who are you? He also looked forward and roared crazily. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and said coldly. I'll give you a chance. Disappear from my sight, and I won't kill you. Kid, you're too arrogant. Do you know who we are? Do you know who the person you've injured is? Their eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. No matter who you are, get lost. Lin Xian looked forward. He had already been crowned, so how could he be afraid of these people? Even if he was on another continent, he would still be an unparalleled expert. He did not need to be polite to anyone. The dark red divine dragon also walked over and said. What? Could it be that you know about the existence of the jade vein under this mountain? The toad snorted coldly. Don't think about it. The jade vein is ours. Get lost. The pupils of the Lei Dong tribe shrank. Damn it, these people actually knew about the jade vein. They couldn't let them live. Lei Dong swallowed a pill to suppress his injuries. Then, he said, everyone, let's do it. The news here must not be spread out. These people would not be able to leave this place alive. The surrounding people nodded after hearing this. They split up and fought in all 8 directions. They sealed all the paths. Young man, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Do you think you can contend against us? A young man walked out. There were endless thunder snakes circling around his body. It was abnormally terrifying. Since you dare to offend our Lei Dong tribe, we won't kill you easily. We'll let you die in despair. Another old man walked out. He held a thunder blade in his hand, releasing a biting cold aura. The others all used their supernatural powers and phenomena, freezing between heaven and earth. The terrifying Thunder Dao aura carried a violent and destructive power. It was as if it wanted to tear Lin Xian and the others apart. There were still some people searching for opportunities in this mountain range, such as looking for spiritual herbs. At this moment, they felt the terrifying power of thunder emerging from this mountain peak. They thought that a treasure of heaven and earth had appeared. They all came over to investigate. However, when they saw one after another, powerhouses like the Thunder God, they were all stunned. It was the Lei Dong tribe. Leave quickly. These people hurriedly retreated. What was the Thunder Dragon tribe doing here? They seemed to have surrounded a few figures. Heavens, someone dared to attack the Lei Dong tribe. Did they have a death wish? In front, 12 powerhouses surrounded Lin Xian and the other 2. The Lei Dong tribe was not confident. In their opinion, 6 powerhouses were enough to deal with the other party. They went all out only because they were angry. You want to attack me? Lin Xian laughed. I advise you not to do this. Because if you attack me, you will end up in a terrible state. Stupid thing, are you living in a dream? Do you think the 3 of you can fight against us? Ha ha ha. They laughed proudly. The people in the distance were also frightened. There were even 2 figures standing on the mountain peak in the distance. The 2 silhouettes were a handsome man and a beautiful woman. The 2 of them looked ahead and frowned slightly. The Lei Dong tribe was too much. They had no choice. The Lei Dong tribe was also an overlord in this place. How could they take the 3 of them seriously? They just did not know where these 3 people came from. They were so reckless. There were always people who were blind. There was no need to pay attention to this battle. The man held a folding fan in his hand and shook his head slightly. Lei Yun, who was in front, shouted angrily. Cut the crap and take him down. I want to torture him to death bit by bit. Following his command, the people in front of him made their move. The first middle-aged man waved his hand and thousands of lightning snakes flew out. Chapter 5091. These 2 people's attacks both charged toward Lin Xian. In their view, this attack was enough to seriously injure the other party. As for the others, some people attacked the dark red divine dragon and the toad. Looking at the divine abilities rushing over, Lin Xian sneered. He formed a seal with his palm, endless golden light appeared in his palm. Fearless Lion Seal. A golden lion rushed forward, pouncing toward the 2 great divine abilities. Useless brat, who do you think you are? Can you contend with us? The 2 people sneered. The fearless lion collided with the terrifying thunder, emitting a sky-shaking sound. Tens of millions of lightning snakes were smashed into pieces in an instant. At the same time, that blade light was also sent flying by the fearless lion. How was this possible? The pupils of the 2 Thunderclap clan powerhouses constricted fiercely. The other party's divine ability was so powerful. It seemed that they underestimated this brat. This guy was actually a top genius. Thunderclap's pupils constricted even more fiercely. He roared angrily. Stop watching the show for me, attack with all your might. I must obtain this divine ability. He was very tempted by this fearless lion seal. The other people also attacked one after another. However, Lin Xian's speed was even faster. He executed Shadowless Heaven's net and instantly disappeared. Those people's attacks hit nothing. When Lin Xian appeared, he already arrived beside the first middle-aged man. Go to hell. The middle-aged man waved his hand, turning into endless lightning snakes that surged out. Those lightning snakes had the power to pierce through everything, but they only hit Lin Xian's afterimage. A sword light appeared in Lin Xian's hand. He waved it lightly, instantly splitting open the other party's glabella. Azura sword art. The first sword. The middle-aged man's body trembled. He let out an unwilling roar. What kind of sword was this? It actually split open his soul in an instant. His body fell down and fell to the ground. Was he dead? The surrounding people were all stunned, not daring to believe it. The other party insta-killed a powerhouse on their side with one sword. What kind of sword technique was this? This kid was too strange, right? Strange movement technique, superb sword technique. Who exactly was the other party? Kill. They charged over once again. Lin Xian once again used Shadowless Heaven's net to dodge these attacks. Then, he walked up to the second old man. It was also the Azura sword art. The old man was scared out of his wits. He roared angrily and pushed the thunder blade in his hand to the limit, cleaving heaven and earth. This saber strike could shatter heaven and earth. However, it was still useless. The Azura sword art was a sure kill technique, a great emperor's technique. Its speed was incomparable. In the blink of an eye, it pierced through the opponent's head. The second old man fell to the ground, bleeding from his forehead. Did one of them die? The others couldn't believe it. Lei Yun was also stunned. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon and the toad also attacked. The dark red divine dragon was very powerful. Its dragon claw sent a powerhouse flying. The toad even released poison and injured a person. However, there were too many of them, and all of them were experts. In an instant, they were surrounded. The dark red divine dragon snorted coldly. Then I'll let you have a look at my newly obtained power. With a wave of his hand, the ground around him split open, and countless rays of light appeared. That was the light of jade. It turned into a jade dragon and charged forward. The power was extremely terrifying. In an instant, 3 people were sent flying, vomiting blood. The toad also roared angrily. Little White, come and help me. I'll release poison. You do it. Little White ate spirit fruits while appearing and disappearing unpredictably. It directly knocked the 3 people unconscious. The 3 of them fell into a state of dizziness. The toad released poison. The 3 people's bodies started to rot, and they screamed in pain. The people of the Thunder Clan were beaten up by Lin Xian and the other 2. In the blink of an eye, they were either dead or injured. Only Lei Yun was left. He looked forward and trembled in fear. Impossible, how can you be so strong? He was really stunned. Who were these people? Lin Xian killed 2 people of the Great Sage with another slash. Then, he looked forward. I've said it before. I'm not someone you can provoke. I gave you a chance to leave before, but you didn't cherish it. Don't blame me. No. Lei Yun roared crazily. You can't kill me. I'm the top genius of the Thunder Clan. If you kill me, my clan won't let you off. Oh, is that so? Threatening me. Unfortunately, I'm not afraid of threats. Lin Xian sneered and walked forward. Lei Yun suddenly raised his head. A thunder talisman appeared on his forehead. Go to hell. The talisman emitted a thunder light. It was a red light with the power of heaven's punishment. It directly attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't expect the other party to have such an attack. Heaven's punishment was indeed a great threat to him because he was abandoned by the heavens. However, that was a group of heavenly punishments. Now, there was only one. Moreover, it was caused by the young man in front of him. Although it was dangerous to him, it wasn't fatal. He used Shadowless Heaven's net to dodge quickly. At the same time, he activated the heaven-devouring jar. A black vortex appeared and swallowed the heaven's punishment. How could it be? How could he not die? Lei Yun knelt down completely. The attack just now was the strongest attack he could make by activating his bloodline. Previously, he used this to kill an expert who was much stronger than him. This was his greatest trump card. But now, it was easily dodged by the other party. Don't kill me. He knelt down, but he was sent flying by Lin Xian with a slap. Lin Xian's strength was so terrifying that half of Lei Yun's body was split open. Then, he was instantly killed by a sword. The others were also dealt with. The people who were watching the battle from afar were dumbfounded. What did they see? The terrifying Thunder Clan was actually annihilated by someone. This was too inconceivable. Were these people really all young people? The two people who were watching the battle from afar were also shocked. Oh, the tables had turned. It seemed that the Thunder Clan had kicked an iron plate. The 12 people in front of him were all extremely terrifying existences among great saints. However, they were mercilessly killed. This meant that Lin Xian and the others were far stronger than the other party. At this moment, they were even more shocked. Because they realized that the handsome man in the lead was looking in their direction. There was a golden glow in his eyes. The void around them instantly froze, and their souls also felt a tremendous pressure. The handsome man snorted and closed his folding fan. A force enveloped them. Then, the two disappeared. Did they leave? Lin Xian retracted his gaze. The power of these two people was very strange. He ignored them and waved his hand to split the mountain peak. Below, an endless light flew out. It was a jade vein. At this moment, a small part of the jade vein had already dimmed. Lin Xian was also shocked, and the dark red divine dragon used this power. He could tell that the dark red divine dragon used the power of the jade vein to form a jade dragon that swept in all directions. Didn't this mean that as long as there were enough spirit veins under the ground, the dark red divine dragon could use them indefinitely? What a terrifying secret technique. Chapter 5092. As for the remaining jade veins, Lin Xian divided them into 3 portions and gave them to the dark red divine dragon and the toad. Let them cultivate. As for Little White, it didn't care about these at all. Little White only liked to eat spirit fruits of heaven and earth. Lin Xian's portion was kept by him. After entering the sword world, the jade vein turned into a jade dragon and crawled up. The light on the surface instantly dimmed. Fortunately, the surroundings of the Four Spirits Valley had already changed, so the power of the jade vein did not completely disappear. Not bad, kid, did you find another spirit vein? The 4 spirit beasts were overjoyed. What a special power. Lin Xian waved his hand and used the void beast to bring the group away. After arriving at a safe place, he went in and absorbed the power of the jade vein. Later on, the dark red divine dragon and the toad also came. They placed their jade veins into the sword world. After cultivating recently, they were shocked. Heavens, you actually have a world in your body. What kind of world is this? Why do I feel so primordial? The dark red divine dragon was shocked. The toad also said, what an ancient aura. Moreover, this world seemed to be dilapidated. Only this place was filled with vitality. Damn, the divine spring of life. The toad looked ahead and directly flew over to the spring under the heavenly tree. However, it was blocked by a force. It wasn't Lin Xian who did it. Instead, it was a section of the heavenly tree's trunk that was blooming with light. It blocked everything. Fortunately, the toad was one of them, so it was only bounced back. If it was an enemy, this attack would have been enough to blast the enemy into a bloody mist. Lin Xian was also surprised. It seemed that the divine spring of life fruit from before was powerful enough to restore some vitality to the withered heavenly tree. However, it was too small. It was only a tree trunk. It was far from enough. He didn't know what kind of power this was. To be able to revive the entire heavenly tree. While they were cultivating here, the news outside had also spread. Those who were watching the battle from afar spread what they had seen. Everyone was shocked. 3 experts had joined forces to kill the 12 great sage of the Thunder Clan. Even young Master Thundercloud had fallen. Heavens, who was it? Were those people very powerful? When they heard that most of the great sage were killed in an instant, they were stunned. Heavens, it had been thousands of years since someone dared to challenge the Thunder Clan. When the Thunder Clan received the news, they roared crazily. They sent even more experts and elders to investigate. However, they discovered that the person had already left. The jade vein had also disappeared. This made them so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. This time, their losses were truly too great. Not only did he lose the jade vein, but he also lost a group of experts. More importantly, if this matter were to spread, they would lose face. Find it for me. I want to see who dares to go against my Thunderdong clan. Several beautiful women were resting and chatting here. The next moment, they were surprised because they found that the 2 of them seemed to be a little gloomy when they returned. What's going on? Why do the 2 of you look so pale? Could it be that they had encountered some danger? These 2 people were the ones who had been observing Lin Xian's battle. Now that the 2 of them had returned, they recounted everything that had happened. The few of them were also surprised when they heard this. Oh, such a terrifying expert had appeared. Which clan is he from? As for a beautiful woman, she was shocked. Her face was solemn. She asked, did you see it clearly? Did he have golden eyes? Also, what did he look like? Qing Feng, why are you so nervous? Do you know him? Tell me. Qing Feng asked. If Lin Xian was here, he would be shocked. He knew this woman. Previously, in the ancient city, people from the Phoenix clan and the Heavenly Rock clan had come. Qing Feng was from the Phoenix clan. Bai Li Fei was from the Heavenly Rock clan. These 2 people had fought with Lin Xian before. The beautiful woman was Qing Feng. In other words, these people were from the Phoenix clan. The 2 people from the Phoenix clan told Qing Feng in detail. After Qing Feng heard this, she was also shocked. Did he come? Is it really him? Who is it? The people around her were good. However, Qing Feng shook her head. She said, you guys stay here. I have to go back first. Why was he not in the ancient city? Was he here for the Phoenix clan or for Murong Qingqing? After Lin Xian and the other 2 walked out of the sword world, they felt refreshed. It seemed that they had become stronger. However, they still had a long way to go before they could break through to the Great Sage realm. Lin Xian was not in a hurry. He knew that he would have to stay on this continent for a period of time. Maybe he would be able to break through in one go. After flying for 5 days, they found a huge city in front of them. They landed. Walking into the city, they found that it was similar to the Yaoguang continent. There were many genius experts, and there were even many great sage experts. It seemed that the difference in strength between the buried Emperor Star was not very big. After that, Lin Xian and the others heard a piece of news. Because the entire city was talking about it. Have you heard? This gathering was initiated by the Tianping clan. They invited the Phoenix clan, the other desolate ancient clans, and the great sections. It could be said that this was the most eye-catching gathering. I heard that the top geniuses of the Tianping clan will be there. I wonder if Bailey Wuk will be there. Nonsense, he was the one who initiated this gathering. He was the most dazzling genius of the Tianping clan. How could he be absent? Moreover, I know that this gathering is specially for the Phoenix clan's genius. Are you talking about Murong Qingqing? I heard that she joined the Phoenix clan halfway. How could her status be so high? One after another, voices of discussion sounded. After Lin Xian and the others heard this, they narrowed their eyes. They did not expect that there would be news about the Phoenix clan so soon. Previously, when the savage ancestor asked him to choose a continent to teleport to, Lin Xian asked where the Phoenix clan was. Because he felt that it was definitely related to Murong Qingqing. He had not seen her for a long time. Su Qing wanted to take this opportunity to meet her, so he came to the Alioth continent. He did not expect that not long after he arrived, he would hear news about the Phoenix clan. Moreover, it was news about Murong Qingqing. Greetings, everyone. Lin Xian walked over and said with a smile. The youths who were talking ahead all turned their heads and asked, "Who are you?" Lin Xian said, "I came from outside. I heard that there was a gathering here, but I don't know the exact location. I also want to see the Phoenix clan's genius to fulfill a dream of mine." Chapter 5093. Sorry to disturb you. Lin Xian and the others sat with these people. They were all young people, and they were all geniuses from the great clans. Moreover, they were all genius disciples of large clans. Otherwise, they wouldn't be qualified to talk about the Phoenix clan. "How should I address you, brother?" a man in white asked. The other girls also blinked because they realized that Lin Xian was very handsome. However, that was all. At their level, the most important thing was to consider strength. "My name is Lin Xian, and these are my 2 friends." Lin Xian and the others greeted them. After hearing this, they nodded. They didn't care too much. After all, this was the Yuhan continent. They were more concerned about the experts and geniuses of this continent. For example, the experts of the Phoenix clan and the Tianping clan. Although the news of Lin Xian being crowned king had spread throughout the 8 desolations, that fame belonged to Lin Wudi. As for Lin Xian's real name, not many people knew about it. Lin Xian didn't care about this. This could save him a lot of trouble. At least, if the enemy wanted to investigate him, they wouldn't know where he was. Lin Xian also knew about these people. There were a total of 5 people. 2 of them were from the great sects, and the other 3 were from the clan of the ancients. They were the Earth Spirit clan and the Golden Armor clan. The leader of the Earth Spirit clan was called Bai Yi, and the leader of the Golden Armor clan was called Jia Luo. The group was familiar with each other. Bai Yi said, Brother Lin, there's still a month before the banquet. However, we have to move in 3 days. Because of the distance, it's quite far from here." Lin Xian nodded and said, "No problem, Brother Bai will make the decision." 3 days later, they set off in a war chariot and flew into the distance. After flying for about 20 days, they finally stopped. There was a sealed boundary in front of them. It formed a space of its own. Bai Yi said, "This is our destination. The territory in front belongs to the Tianping clan. It has an extremely strong seal. Ordinary people can't enter. Fortunately, we have invitations." Bai Yi and the others took out their invitations and walked in. After entering, the inside was like a celestial land. It was vast and boundless, surrounded by spirit qi. It looked like a paradise on earth. Lin Xian and the others felt refreshed. The Heavenly Rock clan was indeed extraordinary. Although they weren't from the Monarch clan, they were still at the top of the clan of the ancients. After entering, Lin Xian and the others could hear all sorts of discussions regarding the Heavenly Rock race. Especially the legend of Flawless 100 Miles. Although the Sky Rock race wasn't an emperor race, Prince Bailey was too strong. He was definitely a revered great emperor. It wouldn't be a problem for him to become a great emperor. That was for sure. If he could marry the fatally beautiful fairy of the Phoenix clan, it would be even more perfect. The surrounding martialists were full of envy at the thought of the fatally beautiful fairy. To be able to marry such a beauty, he could die without regrets. As for those beautiful fairies, their faces are filled with jealousy. If only I could marry young Master Wu Kei, how good would that be? Don't even think about it. You guys have no chance. Someone said. There were also people who asked, why did I hear that Princess Qing Qing seemed unwilling? What do you know? In my opinion, that Murong Qing Qing is too stupid. She thinks that she can be superior because she's from the Phoenix clan. It's her fortune that young Master Wu Kei likes her. The one who said that was also a little princess. She seemed to be very angry. She said, the Heavenly Rock race is an existence that can slay dragons. No matter how strong the Phoenix clan is, they can't be that much stronger. Don't they have an additional extreme weapon? Other than that, I don't think there's much of a difference. As soon as she said that, the dark red dragon was unhappy. He originally wanted to find out more information, but at this moment, he snorted coldly. How dare they slay dragons? Aren't they afraid of being torn apart by dragons? Also, who does that Wuk think he is? How dare he marry Qing Qing? Is he worthy? As soon as this voice was heard, the surrounding people were stunned. They all turned their heads to look. Damn, who is it? He's so reckless. Is he a snake? No, he has the aura of a dragon. He's a member of the dragons. No wonder. There seems to be a grudge between the Heavenly Rock race and the dragons, right? Dragons are strong, but in ancient times, the Heavenly Rock race also produced peerless experts. They once swept through the 8 desolates. At that time, a conflict broke out between the Heavenly Rock race and the dragons, and there was even a story about the Heavenly Rock race. Later on, it evolved into the Heavenly Rock race. It made people think that the Heavenly Rock race was superior to the dragons. At that time, the dragons were very angry because of this matter, and they started countless battles with the Heavenly Rock race. Later on, the dragons produced a great emperor, and he swept through the world. Only then did they stand at the peak of the universe. However, the Heavenly Rock race was not destroyed. They were only suppressed by the dragons. From this, it could be seen that the Heavenly Rock race was also very powerful. They only lacked a great emperor. Someone sneered, the dragons dare to come here. Aren't they afraid of being stewed by the Heavenly Rock race? The dark red dragon snorted coldly, let's see who dares to make a move against me. Lin Xian and the others also walked over and looked around. He advised, all right, ruffian dragon, calm down. We'll talk about it when the time comes. He didn't want to attract attention now. He wanted to wait until Murong Qingqing came. The dark red dragon said, "All right, we'll let the heavenly rock race go first. When that little girl Murong comes, we'll teach them a lesson." As for the heavenly rock race wanting to marry Murong Qingqing, it was a joke. Even if he was given 10,000 years, he wouldn't succeed. If he didn't succeed, would you succeed? Some people were angry and couldn't watch anymore. They felt that this dragon was too hateful. He actually dared to look down on young Master Flawless. The dark red dragon sneered, "I can't, but my brother can." He pointed at Lin Xian. The surrounding people all looked over. This guy looks quite handsome. But what's the use of being handsome? If he meets young Master Flawless, he'll probably be slapped to death. Not only that, I feel that young Master Flawless can kill him with a glance. That's for sure. Who is young Master Flawless? He's the #1 youth of the Heavenly Rock race. He also has the talent of a young great emperor. He's an existence that can compete with the emperors. This kind of ant is not a match for young Master Flawless. Damn it. The dark red dragon and the toad still wanted to fight. Lin Xian held the two of them down and said, "Let's go, I'll bring the two of them back." Bai Yi and the others walked over and said, "Brother, don't be depressed, it's not that they're looking down on you. It's just that young Master Flawless is really too powerful. He's an existence that all of us look up to." That's right, only those emperors can compete with young Master Flawless. For example, the Dragon Prince of the Dragons, the Kuanping of the Kuanping race. The Qilin Sun and the Phoenix race's princess. Right, have you heard? There's news from Holy Abyss Ancient City that someone has been crowned king. He's competing with the Dragon Prince. I know the person you're talking about. He's called Lin Wudi, right? He's also one. I heard that he's very powerful. Not only was he crowned king, but he also injured the Dragon Prince. Many people were surprised. Some people said that it was impossible. Perhaps the distance was too far and the news was too exaggerated. Chapter 5094. Hearing this, Lin Xian's expression became extremely strange. Because Lin Wudi, whom these people admired, was him. What kind of expression would these people have if they knew? They came from afar. At this moment, a few figures walked over. The leader was a tall man with thunder surrounding his body. He was abnormally terrifying. When Lin Xian saw this person, he narrowed his eyes because he had met this person's aura before. Were the people of the Thunder Clan here for him? The dark red dragon was also nervous. They were ready to attack at any time. But what surprised them was that the other party was not here for him. The tall man in front looked at Lin Xian and the others. However, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon were quickly ignored by him. He stared at the two women from the Earth Spirit clan, and a smile appeared on his face. New faces, not bad looking. Lei Shan was very satisfied. They could be his cultivation vessels. He said, "I'm Lei Shan from the Thunder Clan. How should I address you?" Hearing this, the people of the Earth Spirit clan and Golden Armor sect were surprised. The Thunder Clan was very famous in this area. They were good at thunder and were fast. Their strength was terrifying. More importantly, the Thunder Clan seemed to be in an alliance with the Tianping clan. Therefore, their identities were not ordinary and surpassed them. Bai Yi quickly said, "We are from the Earth Spirit clan. These are my two sisters." The people of Golden Armor sect also introduced them. At the same time, he pointed at Lin Xian and the others and said, "This is Sir Lin and his friend. We met on the road." Lei Shan glanced at Lin Xian and the others and ignored them. He said, "Please come in." Especially when he came to Bai Ye's side. He smiled and said, "How should I address these two fairies?" "Sir, you're too polite. I'm Xiao Axian and this is my sister Xiao Yu. It's your first time here, right? I'll show you around." "Thank you." Bai Yi also bowed respectfully. If they could establish a good relationship with the Thunder Clan, it would be very good for their clan. The group of people walked forward. Along the way, many people greeted and bowed to Lei Shan. These people shocked Bai Yi and the others. It seemed like Lei Shan's identity and strength were much more terrifying than they had imagined. The two women from the Earth Spirit clan also had stars in their eyes. The dark red dragon sneered at the sight of this. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It was good that they weren't here for them. As for the other party's goal, he couldn't be bothered to care. He was waiting to see Murong Qingqing. At this moment, Lei Shan stopped and said, "I know a garden full of celestial flowers. Many of them were already extinct in the outside world, never to be seen again. Ordinary people are not allowed to enter this garden. But don't worry, with me here, I can definitely bring you in." When he said this, his eyes shone brightly. The members of the Earth Spirit clan and the Golden Armor Gate were also shocked. Although their identities were also extraordinary, they were still far from being comparable to the other party. On the other hand, Lin Xian and the others were expressionless. This made the members of the Thunder Clan frown. Did these people not know how powerful they were? But forget it, there was no need to care about these ants. Lei Shan's main goal was to get the two fairies. There was a courtyard in front of them, and there were arrays flickering inside. Those outside couldn't enter at all, and there were two guards guarding the entrance of the courtyard. Some people wanted to enter, but they were blocked, and their faces turned ugly. Lei Shan arrived and said a few words. The two guards quickly bowed and opened the door. Lei Shan and the others walked in. However, when it came to Lin Xian and the others, they stopped. The two guards said, "The three of you can't enter." What did they mean? The toad was instantly enraged. The dark red dragon snorted coldly. Were they looking down on others? At the front, the members of the Earth Spirit clan and the Golden Armor Gate frowned when they saw this. The members of the Golden Armor Gate said, "This is also our companion." "Brother Lin is our friend," Bai Yi said. However, the two guards still didn't care. They could see that the people in front of them were all wearing precious sacred weapons. They could tell at a glance that their identities were extraordinary. However, Lin Xian and the others were only wearing black robes, and they didn't even have a single weapon. These people probably couldn't even take out saint artifacts, so what right did they have to enter the appreciation garden? Lei Shan stood at the front and looked at this scene from above. He sneered in his heart. He originally thought that these people looked calm and seemed to have some powerful trump card. However, now it seemed that they were just a group of country bumpkins. The other party had never heard of his name. It was even possible that these people came from the mountains. They didn't know what top geniuses were like. They were lucky to have met Bai Yi and the others, so they could follow them in. Bai Yi looked at Lei Shan and said, "Young Master Lei, can you please help us?" The two women of the Earth Spirit clan also nodded at the side. Lei Shan said, "Don't worry, leave this small matter to me." He said to the two guards, "Let them in." Only then did the two guards feel relieved. The stars in the eyes of the two women of the Kirin clan became even brighter. This was the peerless genius in their hearts, an unparalleled powerhouse. One sentence was enough to settle everything. At this moment, only Lei Shan was left in their eyes. After entering, they were even more surprised because they found that the appreciation garden was indeed filled with spirit flowers. There were some that they had never seen before, and they had only heard of in legends. Moreover, there were also some people in the garden, but they were much fewer than outside. The identities of those who came here were all terrifying. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. What's there to be proud of? Isn't it just a lousy garden? If I want to come in, they can stop me. The toad also gritted his teeth. That Lei Dong clan was too arrogant, and he really wanted to slap him to death. Lin Xian smiled. It's okay, think about it, he can't even see through our identities, so he's just an ant. Do you have to be angry with an ant? If you're really angry, then use your new skills and take away the spirit vein under the garden. Hearing this, the dark red dragon was stunned, then he laughed. Good boy, I almost forgot. I'll let you see what I'm capable of. He sneered and began to walk around the garden. It seemed that he wanted to change the spirit vein under the ground. At this moment, the sound of a bugle horn came from afar. At the same time, a voice was heard. The Phoenix clan had arrived. As soon as the voice was heard, countless people turned to look. The people of the Phoenix clan had arrived. They knew that today's main character was the Phoenix clan, and this gathering was invited by the Tianping clan. Now that these people had finally arrived, they wondered if Murong Qingqing had come. Chapter 5095. In the distance, endless rays of light appeared, and the phantom of a phoenix soared into the 9 heavens. In that phantom, a group of figures appeared. Among them was a woman dressed in purple, like a fairy descending from the 9 heavens. Look, it's Murong Qingqing. The surrounding people exclaimed. One after another, the crowd glanced toward the direction of the battle. Those martial artists were all stunned. So beautiful. Even those fairies and princesses were shocked. It was as if they were dim compared to the other party. Allure. Lin Xian took a deep breath. As expected, the other party had also come. The people of the Phoenix clan were invited in. At this moment, a group of people from the Heavenly Rock clan also walked over. The leader was a man with a powerful aura and a handsome face. He was like a god that had descended to the mortal world. Flawless Bailey was actually him. Countless cries of surprise rang out. This was the #1 genius of the Heavenly Rock clan, an existence that could compete with the Emperor. He was the one who had initiated the gathering. His goal was to pursue Murong Qingqing. Soon, these people were invited in. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian wanted to move, and the others also wanted to follow and take a look. At this moment, Lei Shan said, "Those fairies of the Phoenix clan, we don't have a chance, so don't think about it. However, I can introduce you to someone. He's a genius of the Heavenly Rock clan. With him taking care of you, it'll be much easier for you to do things in the future." As soon as these words were said, Bei Yi and the others were also moved. Indeed, a genius like Murong Qingqing could only look at them from afar. It would be better to get to know a genius of the Heavenly Rock clan. That would be more practical. Just you wait. After saying that, he turned around and left. At this moment, he realized that Lin Xian and the others didn't pay attention to him at all. Instead, they directly walked outside. This made Lei Shan frown. "Stop, kid, don't you understand what I said? I told you to wait here." Lin Xian said, "I'm not interested in the genius you mentioned. Are you still going to block my way?" "Not interested. You don't have the final say here." Lei Shan felt that he had lost face. How could an ant dare to be so arrogant in front of him? He snorted coldly. A few people from the Thunder clan walked over and said, "Kid, I advise you to stay here obediently. Otherwise, I'll make you crawl out today." Bei Yi and the others left as well. They came over and said, "Brother Lin, just wait. It won't hurt to wait a little longer. Lin Xian said, Brother Bei Yi, thank you for bringing me here. However, I do have some matters to attend to, so I won't accompany you. As he spoke, he led the Crimson Divine Dragon and the Toad forward again. Let's see who dares to leave this place. Lei Shan shouted angrily as terrifying lightning burst out from his body. Those from the Lei Dong clan also pulled out their swords and sabers, preparing to attack. In the garden, the others frowned, but no one came to interfere. The expression of the guards outside changed, and they wanted to go in. At this time, they stopped and saw a few figures coming from outside the garden. Take the lead and make a decision. They hurriedly bowed and greeted young Master Fei. That man nodded and walked in. Who dares to make a move in our Tianping clan? Are you tired of living? A cold voice sounded, causing the expressions of those in the garden to change. The genius of the Tianping clan had arrived. Lei Shan smiled and jogged over. Brother Fei, you're here. Brother Fei, I'm sorry. We didn't mean to break the rules. It's just that some people are too reckless. I'm prepared to teach them a lesson. As he spoke, he looked at Bei Yi and the others and waved his hand, saying, Hurry up and greet Brother Fei. Brother Fei is the genius of the Tianping clan. If you follow Brother Fei in the future, I guarantee that you'll have a meteoric rise. Hearing this, Bei Yi, Jiao Luo, and the others hurriedly bowed and greeted young Master Fei. The others also looked over, each of them with surprise and envy. However, there were 3 figures standing there, unmoved. Seeing this, Bei Yi and the others whispered, Brother Lin, hurry up and greet young Master Fei. They were all anxious. Jiao Luo and the others shook their heads and sighed. This Brother Lin was a bit impulsive. I'm afraid that the outcome won't be good. Lei Shan's face instantly darkened. Brat, do you want to die? Young Master Fei is here and you dare to not greet him. Do you believe that I won't break your legs and make you kneel here? Lin Xian, on the other hand, laughed. How arrogant. If I greet him, will he dare to accept it? Hearing this, the surrounding people's expressions changed. Could it be that this brat wants to challenge the Tianping clan? Lei Shan sneered. What a reckless brat. It seemed that he didn't need to do anything. The Tianping clan would kill him. He looked at Brother Fei, but he was stunned. Because he realized that Brother Fei wasn't angry. Instead, there was a trace of shock in his eyes. In the next moment, he walked forward. Young Master Lin, it's you. Why are you here? Lei Shan was stunned. He knew Bai Li Fei. That was too unbelievable. Wasn't he just an ant? How could he know such a person? Bei Yi and the others were also stunned. If Lin Xian knew Bai Li Fei, would he still need them to lead the way? They didn't understand. Lin Xian looked forward and laughed. Seems like you're getting more and more impressive. Bai Li Fei's expression changed. He could indeed be impressive in front of others, but he didn't dare to do so in front of Lin Xian. However, he was still shocked. What are you doing here? Don't tell me you want to ruin the party. He knew that the person Murong Qingqing liked was Lin Xian. And the number 1 genius of their clan was pursuing Murong Qingqing. He definitely had a purpose for appearing at this time. He turned and wanted to leave. Lin Xian patted his shoulder and said, Long time no see. Why don't you have a drink with me? As he spoke, a trace of cold light appeared in his eyes. The golden light carried the runes of reincarnation and instantly entered Bai Li Fei's mind. Bai Li Fei's expression changed. Since Lin Xian dared to attack him, he shouted angrily and tried to block with all his strength. However, he realized that his soul was instantly suppressed. A reincarnation mountain released a terrifying aura. Lin Xian's voice sounded in his mind. Since you know my identity, I have to take some measures. Don't worry, as long as you don't want to die, I won't make things difficult for you. During this gathering, I will control you first. After the gathering, your soul will recover. After speaking, Lin Xian patted Bai Li Fei's shoulder again. Bai Li Fei was shocked. During this time, his strength had improved by leaps and bounds. But why was the gap between him and Lin Xian getting bigger and bigger? He had lost to Lin Xian before, but now he couldn't even withstand a glance from Lin Xian. Then, he realized that he couldn't control himself anymore. He couldn't even speak. As for Lin Xian's true identity, he couldn't report it to his clan. Lei Shan was also stunned. He didn't know why Bai Li Fei was so silent. However, Bai Li Fei's previous actions showed that he knew Lin Xian, so he didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at Lei Shan with a smile on his face. Didn't you want me to kneel down? Didn't you want to show off in front of me? Lei Shan's face became extremely ugly. He gritted his teeth and said, "What are you trying to do?" Lin Xian sneered and secretly controlled Bai Li Fei. Bai Li Fei received the order and a cold light appeared in his eyes. He slapped Lei Shan's face. "Stupid thing, how dare you be so rude to young Master Lin? Do you want to die? Kneel down." With that, he waved his hand and chopped off Lei Shan's legs. Lei Shan fell to the ground and screamed crazily. He kept kowtowing. "Young Master Lin, I was wrong. I didn't recognize Mount Tai. Please spare my life." The people from the Lei Dong clan were so scared that their scalps went numb. Bei Yi, Jia Luo, and the others were also shocked. This brother Lin with them actually had such an identity. Chapter 5096. At this moment, the garden became lively again. That was because a group of people had arrived from outside. The person leading the group was Bailey Wook. Bailey Wook said, "Ching, for you, I have specially built this garden. I have gathered all the immortal flowers in the world. There is a group that is extremely rare. It is called Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens. This is a flower that I have spent a lot of effort to obtain. I have specially prepared it for you to admire." The people from the Phoenix clan were also surprised. Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens. It was indeed a legendary immortal flower. Merely, it had not appeared for tens of thousands of years. It would appear that Bailey Wook was truly considerate. The eyes of some people from the Phoenix clan flickered. To them, it would be extremely good if Murong Qingqing could marry Bailey Wook. They would be able to obtain a powerful ally for their Phoenix clan. However, at this moment, Qing Feng sighed. She knew that it was impossible. The reason for that was because of the existence of that person. Furthermore, that person had already grown up and was crowned king. "Qing, follow me." The group of people entered the Flower Appreciation Garden. When the people in the Flower Appreciation Garden saw Murong Qingqing, Bailey Wook, the people from the Phoenix clan and the Heavenly Rock clan, they were all surprised. They immediately went to welcome them. Lin Xian was also surprised. Originally, he had wanted to go and meet them. He did not expect that they would actually come. Thinking of this, he began to walk forward. The people in front of him stopped. Bailey Wook stood with his hands behind his back. He had an arrogant expression on his face. Apart from Murong Qingqing, it seemed that he would not smile at anyone else. He was accepting the worship of these people. On the other side, Murong Qingqing also had an expressionless face. However, when she saw a figure, she was surprised. In the next moment, her eyes turned red. Then, an extremely beautiful smile appeared on her face. At this moment, everyone was stunned. It was as if the world had lost its luster. Even the immortal flowers in the garden could not match her smile. Even Bailey Wook, who was standing on the side, was startled. He had never seen Murong Chinchin reveal such a sweet smile. Who was it because of? It was definitely not because of any genius. It should be because of the immortal flowers in the garden. Thinking of this, Bailey Wook also smiled. It seemed that the flower appreciation garden that he had meticulously prepared had indeed won her favor. He might be able to succeed in one fell swoop. However, at this time, he was stunned because he found that the people in front of him had stopped at a certain distance and were worshipping it. However, there was only one person who continued to stride towards him. His brows furrowed tightly. Who was so rude? Was he courting death? The others were also stunned and raised their heads to look ahead. What's going on? Who was this kid? What was he trying to do? Lei Shan and the others were also stunned. Their faces turned ugly. Even though he was extremely arrogant earlier, before Bai Lifei, he was like a lackey, much less before Wook. The other party could probably kill him with a single glance, but what about now? There was actually someone who dared to challenge Flawless Bailey. He could not believe it. Stop! At this moment, someone from the Heavenly Rock clan shouted angrily. However, Lin Xian did not stop at all. They were enraged. They drew their swords and sabers and were about to attack. Lin Xian shouted. I finally meet you. Murong Qingqing also walked out and threw herself into Lin Xian's arms. Brother Xian. This scene stunned everyone, and even their eyeballs fell to the ground. What the heavens, what was going on? The legendary phoenix prodigy, Murong Qingqing, ignored Flawless Bailey's pursuit. It made people think that she would only marry an emperor. But now, she actually threw herself into the arms of an unfamiliar young man. What was going on? Who was this young man? Could it be that he was an emperor from a great emperor family? Flawless Bailey was also stunned. He could not believe that the goddess he had pursued for a long time had already been obtained by someone else. He felt like he was going crazy from anger. Moreover, this person was so unfamiliar. He did not feel any terrifying aura from him. It was even more impossible for him to be an emperor. That was because he had seen the portraits of those emperors. He had always paid attention to their movements. There was definitely no such person. But why? Damn it! With a roar, heaven and earth shook. Many people's blood boiled, and they vomited blood. Murong Qingqing also raised her head. She saw Flawless Bailey staring at Lin Xian with a pair of cold eyes. She immediately blocked in front of Lin Xian. She shouted coldly, Flawless Bailey, what are you doing? Who was he? Bailey Wujua asked coldly. His voice was abnormally cold, like 10,000 years of ice. Even the members of the Phoenix clan were stunned. Qing Feng wanted to say something, but she was controlled by Lin Xian's eyes. Lin Xian's voice rang out, during this time, I will control you. After saying that, Qing Feng felt that her soul was out of control. She could not say a word. Lin Xian walked out and said, my name is Lin Xian. Qingqing is my woman. When these words came out, everyone went crazy. Murong Qingqing's man. Lin Xian. Damn it, who was this guy? How come they never heard of him? Which mountain did he run out from? Why was Murong Qingqing looking at him? Angry shouts rang out one after another. Bailey Wujue did not dare to believe it. He roared, Qingqing, tell me, this is not real. Murong Qingqing shook her head, this is real. I already told you, I have a husband. But you did not believe me. After saying that, she pulled Lin Xian's hand and said, Brother Xian, let's go. The two of them did not care about those people's gazes and walked out. At this time, Bailey Wuxuan shouted angrily, Damn it, I carefully prepared the immortal flower for you, but you ignored it. What do you think I am? Murong Qingqing stopped and said, I never asked you to do anything. It was just your wishful thinking. Lin Xian also laughed, Oh, Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens. Let me see, is it really the legendary Phoenix Dance of the Nine Heavens? You can't make it. I think you are a liar. Someone like you dares to call yourself the #1 genius. After saying that, he gave the dark red dragon a look. The dark red dragon sneered twice, indicating that it understood. Bailey Wuk was angry, damn it, not only did the other party take away the goddess he liked, but he even dared to challenge him. Stupid ant, what do you know? The people of the Tianping race also roared crazily. Today, I will open your eyes. I will let you see what a real immortal flower is. As they spoke, they shot out a law. 10,000 flowers bloomed. In the land of 10,000 flowers, the phantom of a phoenix soared into the sky. The phoenix's cry swept through the 9 heavens. Countless people looked up, heavens, it really is the Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens. The people of the Tianping race were proud, do you see that? This is. Before they could finish speaking, they were stunned. Because they realized that something unbelievable had happened in front of them. Chapter 5097. They discovered that the legendary blooming of 10,000 flowers and Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens were rapidly disappearing. They even withered. What was going on? The people of the Heavenly Rock clan were all stunned. Why did this happen? These thoughts might have been carefully prepared by them, and they had spent endless effort to find them. Some of them had already disappeared outside, especially the most important Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens. At this moment, they had also withered. Damn it, they wanted to create a formation to protect it, but it was useless. When Lin Xian saw this scene, he sneered. What Phoenix Dance of the 9 heavens? It was just an illusion. Do you think you can fool everyone in the world? After saying that, Lin Xian waved his hand, and all the flowers turned into ashes and disappeared. Let's go. He then left with Murong Qingqing and the other two. Countless people were stunned. Was this an illusion? However, the people of the Phoenix clan were shocked. There was no lack of experts among them, so they naturally knew that it couldn't be an illusion. How did the other party do it? The garden was protected by an extremely terrifying array formation, and the other party had managed to do it without a sound. This method was really amazing. The people of the Heavenly Rock clan roared angrily and grabbed that kid. Bailey Wuk snorted coldly. No one had ever dared to challenge him. No one dared to slap his face in public. Now that this person had done it, he wouldn't let him go. However, when he looked in front of him, he realized that the other party had already disappeared without a trace. Damn it, find him. They searched frantically. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing had already left through the spatial power of the Void Beast. They came to the other side. The toad and the dark red dragon were standing guard. Lin Xian and Bailey Wuk stood on the mountain peak, snuggling together and telling each other about their experiences. Brother Xian, congratulations, you've finally been crowned. Murong Qingqing raised her head and said with a smile. Lin Xian also said. The coronation wasn't the end. At the very least, they had to kill the Dragon Prince. You have to be well prepared for this matter. The Dragon Prince was the Emperor's son, and he was also one of the dragons. His trump cards were too powerful. It was not easy to kill him. Murong Qingqing frowned. Lin Xian said. Don't worry, I'm already planning it. But this time, other than cultivating, I have more important things to do. What is it? Murong Qingqing was surprised. Lin Xian replied, of course it's the Phoenix clan that's proposing. When I'm not around, there are always some flies trying to get you. I'm here to tell the world that you're my woman. After Murong Qingqing heard him, her face blushed immediately. She nodded obediently. However, he seemed to have thought of something. The Phoenix race seemed to think highly of the Tianping race, so they joined hands to carry out this matter. Older brother Xian, you have to be careful if you want to go to the Phoenix clan. Lin Xian said that it was fine. Oh right, how did you resolve your grudge with the Phoenix clan? Didn't they want to kill you and take your bloodline? Murong Qingqing said. It was a long story. The Jade Lake, Kunlun, and even the Queen Mother of the West had joined hands with the Phoenix clan. The two sides had reached an alliance. When necessary, the Jade Lake would use the Desolate Tower to help. Only then did the Phoenix clan agree. Moreover, the Phoenix clan also has a bloodline. The Grand Elder accepted me as his disciple. Lin Xian also understood after hearing this. In the following days, the two of them stayed together and were very happy. On the outside, an endless storm had been stirred up. The proud daughter of the Phoenix clan, Murong Qingqing, actually left the Tianping race's gathering with another man. It directly slapped young Master Wuk's face. How could the Tianping race let this go? When this matter spread out, countless people were in an uproar. Even the people of the Phoenix clan were stunned. They all began to investigate. Who was the other party? However, there was no trace of the other party's background. They only knew that the other party seemed to be called Lin Xian. The people of the Phoenix clan frowned. They had never heard of this name. Damn it, could it be an old friend of Qingqing's? Did he come from the origin planet? Humph, no matter where he came from, he is just an ant. How could he win against the genius of the Phoenix clan? The Phoenix clan was very dissatisfied. They were also frantically searching. However, they still could not find the two of them. While they were going crazy, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing walked out of the real world. Lin Xian said, let's go to the Phoenix clan. The two of them flew towards the Phoenix clan. When they arrived, the people of the Phoenix clan were also shocked. Qingqing, are you okay? Are you hurt? Did this brat threaten you? Men, take him down. The Phoenix clan elder shouted angrily. However, Murong Qingqing said, don't do anything to him. He is my husband. I am not threatened. The people of the Phoenix clan were stunned. Husband. Damn it. What the hell is going on? Men, take Qingqing down to rest. The elder waved his hand and stared at Lin Xian. Murong Qingqing said, I can go and rest, but you are not allowed to hurt her. Otherwise, don't blame me for being hostile. Lin Xian looked at Qingqing and smiled. Don't worry, they can't hurt me. Murong Qingqing nodded and left with the people of the Phoenix clan. She knew how much of a commotion her actions had caused. Therefore, she had to give the Phoenix clan an explanation. The remaining people were furious after hearing this. The other party was too arrogant. They couldn't hurt him. Cold gazes were all fixed on Lin Xian. Lin Xian was fearless. The toad and the dark red dragon looked around disdainfully. The dark red dragon snorted. Why? Is this how the Phoenix clan treats their guests? Shouldn't they invite us in? The people of the Phoenix clan gritted their teeth. They couldn't wait to kill this brat. Inviting him in for tea. What a joke. However, the elder of the Phoenix clan frowned. The situation here had attracted the attention of countless people. He had no choice. He snorted and said, "Come in." He led the way and brought Lin Xian and the other two to a large hall. Then, he left. There were only Lin Xian and the other two in the hall. There were countless guards outside, obviously to prevent them from escaping. After about half a day, a middle-aged man walked over. His face was dark as water. He said coldly, "You are Lin Xian." Lin Xian looked at him, stood up, and nodded. The middle-aged man said and left, disappearing in front of Qingqing. Lin Xian said, "What if I choose not to?" The middle-aged man was stunned. He didn't expect this brat to dare to challenge his clan. He smiled. "Young man, are you not clear about the situation? Do you know where this is? This is the Phoenix clan, the clan of the great emperor. No one can behave atrociously here. I advise you to restrain yourself. The great emperor clan is an overlord of the universe. Who dares to behave atrociously here? They will be suppressed." Chapter 5098. However, the middle-aged man was destined to be disappointed. Lin Xian didn't care about this kind of threat at all. He said indifferently, "I'm just here to tell you that Qingqing is my woman. So, if you dare to let her marry another family, don't blame me for being impolite." Hearing this, the middle-aged man went crazy. Was the other party threatening him? He didn't dare to believe that no one had ever dared to threaten him. An ant dared to behave atrociously in a Thearchus family. "Kid, what right do you have to say such words? What family are you from? What's your background? Not to mention your family, are you a top genius yourself? Can you compete with Baileywook? Can you compete with the Thorch? You can't do anything. What right do you have to say that Murong Qingqing is your woman?" Humph. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. "You're underestimating me too much. You don't know my strength at all. I'm alone now, and I can't do anything to the entire Phoenix clan. However, it's impossible for you to kill me. As for the geniuses of the other families, Baileywook, who you think highly of, is just a so-so in my eyes. I've never been afraid of anyone in the younger generation. Even the Arch is only on equal footing with me." Lin Xian's voice was domineering. The middle-aged man was stunned after hearing this. The other party wasn't afraid of the Arch. What kind of joke was this? He snorted coldly and said, "Good boy, if you really have the strength, then our Phoenix clan won't reject you. How about this? In half a month, our Phoenix clan will hold a banquet. At that time, we will invite geniuses from all over, and we will even invite Baileywook. You can compete with each other. If you can win, then we will acknowledge your relationship with Qingqing. Otherwise, please disappear immediately and never appear again." In his opinion, the other party only dared to talk big. When it came to competing with strength, the other party would definitely not dare to make a move. Lin Xian smiled after hearing this. "All right, I'll wait. Half a month, right? Go ahead and call people. Even if you call the Qilin Sun and the Dragon Prince, I'm still not afraid." The middle-aged man snorted coldly and turned to leave. If he stayed any longer, he would probably go crazy from anger. The guards outside also felt cold after hearing this. Humph. What a fool. He probably doesn't know how terrifying the Crown Prince is. Lin Xian raised his head to look at the sky. So what if the Phoenix race has them? How dare he block his path? Half a month later, he would let these people know what it meant to be a frog at the bottom of a well. The news quickly spread out. Someone came to the Phoenix clan to marry Murong Qingqing. It was as if a storm swept through the entire Yuhan continent. All of a sudden, countless geniuses gathered. When the heavenly rock race's people heard this, their faces turned even colder. Flawless 100 Miles' eyes were filled with killing intent. He had already received news about the Phoenix clan. There would be a gathering half a month later, and he would attend it personally. Lin Xian, right? No matter who you are, you will die in half a month. The Phoenix clan was also greatly surprised by the changes in the outside world. They really wanted to see who this Lin Xian was to be able to make Murong Qingqing so willing. A few women came to the main hall where Lin Xian lived. These people looked noble and their eyes were filled with arrogance. They raised their chins and didn't put anything in their eyes. After that woman Murong Qingqing came, she took a lot of our resources. She has the Grand Elder behind her, so we can't touch her. However, we have to take a good look at this little man of hers. The leader of the women said coldly. The others laughed when they heard this. Sister Yi, don't worry. We know what to do. The few of them sneered. They said to the guards, open the door. The guards opened the door of the main hall, and the group of people walked in. The main hall was very empty. There was no one in sight. The geniuses who came to the Phoenix clan frowned. There was no one. Could it be that the kid had already left? Humph, what a coward. I think he must have run away after hearing the news. Otherwise, how could he dare to compete with Flawless 100 Miles? Moreover, he still had to accept the challenge of the world. It seemed that Murong Qingqing was really blind this time. Cold laughter rang out one after another. However, at this moment, a voice came from the void. Take back what you said just now or bear the consequences. Who's that? The geniuses of the Phoenix clan suddenly turned around. They saw a figure standing behind them. He was wearing a black robe and had a cold expression. In particular, his eyes were shining with an extremely cold light. Damn kid, who are you? They shouted coldly. When did he appear? Why didn't they notice him at all? Lin Xian sneered. You came to find me, but you don't even know who I am. What? You're that Lin Xian. Those people were surprised. They looked carefully. Yi, who was walking at the front, sized up Lin Xian and sneered. He's handsome, but what's the use? You'll turn into a pile of bones in half a month. She sneered. The others also laughed smugly. They could tell that the other party didn't have any terrifying information or bloodline. He wasn't even the great sage. How could he challenge the world? Lin Xian said coldly. I said, take back what you said just now and apologize. Can't you hear me? Yi sneered. Who do you think you are? How dare you? Before she could finish speaking, she was slapped across the face, and her entire body flew out. His handsome face was also in tatters. She roared crazily. How dare you hit me? I'm going to kill you. She rushed over angrily. At this moment, Lin Xian disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already behind her. A pair of hands grabbed her neck. Believe it or not, I can send you to hell in a second. Yi was so scared that her body turned cold. She realized that she couldn't escape at all. It was too terrifying. Those hands were like the palms of a god that could control her life. The geniuses of the Phoenix clan around were even more terrified. They were aware of Sister Yi's strength. She was very powerful, but she was suppressed in an instant. How terrifying was this Lin Xian? Could it be that he really had heaven-defying combat power? Another person said, I'm warning you, don't do anything. This is the territory of the Phoenix clan. If you hurt Yi, you're dead meat. Is that so? Are you threatening me? Lin Xian exerted force in his palm. Yi screamed crazily. No, don't do anything to me. Mr. Lin, I was wrong. I apologize to you. I take back what I said just now. I shouldn't have said that to you, and I shouldn't have said that to Sister Qingqing. I won't do it again. She apologized. At the same time, she shouted angrily. What are you guys waiting for? Hurry up and apologize to me. The people around didn't dare to resist and apologized one after another. Her attitude was completely different from before. Chapter 5099. Lin Xian waved his hand and said coldly, Scram, don't let me see you again. Yi was thrown out. She turned around and roared crazily, Men, suppress him for me. She had already thought about it. As soon as she came out, she would order the experts to completely suppress him. The guards outside rushed in when they heard this. Princess Yi, what's the matter? Yi said, He injured me and suppressed him. I want to kill him. The Phoenix guards were stunned. Princess Yi, please don't make things difficult for us. You're not injured. How is that possible? Yi was shocked. Her companions also said, Are you blind? You didn't see Sister Yi's face. Before they finished speaking, they were also stunned. At this moment, Yi didn't look injured at all. The saint blood in the void also disappeared. How is that possible? Could it be that this kid secretly got rid of it? They were shocked. The Phoenix guards carefully checked and then said, Princess Yi, we didn't find any traces of fighting. After saying that, they retreated and left. Yi shouted angrily, Impossible, could it be that I was dreaming just now? Lin Xian sneered. A trace of cold light appeared in his eyes, and an extremely terrifying soul force pressed down. Yi and the others' scalps went numb. They instantly understood. Illusion. Just now, they were in an illusion. When did it happen? Perhaps, they had been caught in an illusion the moment they entered the hall. And they didn't know. This meant that when they were in the illusion, the other party had 10,000 chances to destroy their souls. Thinking of this, they broke out in cold sweat. Let's go. These people didn't dare to stay here any longer. They turned around and left. At the same time, they swore that they would never return to this place in their lives, let alone provoke the other party. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. The Phoenix clan also became extremely lively. The Phoenix clan's patriarch personally appeared. It was a woman, as high as a queen. She sat in the hall in the clouds. Beside her sat a man with an extraordinary appearance. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. He was the Heavenly Rock clan's patriarch. At this moment, he also said, It seems that there are many geniuses here. The Phoenix clan leader nodded. Once the news spread out, all the geniuses of the Yuheng continent would rush here. Unless there were special matters that prevented them from coming, the others should be arriving soon. However, no matter how many of them came over, they probably wouldn't be able to match up to Flawless 100 miles. The moment these words were spoken, the Heavenly Rock race leader started laughing loudly. Phoenix race leader, you think too highly of Wook. There was still a long way to go before he became flawless. However, the Phoenix clan leader shook her head. I have high hopes for his future. If Jiao was not the empress and had not yet become a great emperor, we would not have dared to let her get married. Otherwise, I would have betrothed Jiao to Wook. However, this Murong Qingqing was not bad either. She had the bloodline of the Rainbow Phoenix and a beautiful face. More importantly, flawless like Qingqing. Therefore, if the two of them could get married, it would be the best thing for our two families. The Heavenly Rock Race's race head nodded. If it really works, I'll get Wuck to block a martial emperor. He should be able to do it. The two of them discussed here. It seemed that they did not treat Lin Xian's existence as a threat at all. Lin Xian was no longer restricted. He finally saw Murong Qingqing again. The two of them were still guarding the Phoenix race, attracting a lot of attention. Early in the morning, news came that the Phoenix race's genius wanted to hold a banquet to meet Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "Is there a Phoenix race empress?" Murong Qingqing said, "You're talking about Fengzhou, right? She's in seclusion and usually won't come out." Lin Xian said, "Then I have no reason to go. Your husband is someone who will be conferred the title of king. The people I interact with are people like the Dragon Prince and the Kuanping son. Other people really don't have the qualifications to ask me to do anything." Murong Qingqing laughed after hearing his words. She rolled her eyes at him and thought, "You." Although she seemed to be complaining, her eyes were filled with happiness. Lin Xian smiled and said, "All right, I'll give you face and make a trip there." In the evening, Lin Xian still attended the banquet. He realized that there were quite a lot of people, not only the Phoenix race's geniuses. The geniuses of the other clans and sects had also come. This was because they really wanted to know who this Lin Xian was. One had to know that Murong Qingqing did not even look at Bailey Wuck before. In the hall in front, Yi and the others were also sitting there. But at this moment, it was silent. The surrounding people were puzzled. Yi and Qingqing's relationship was not good before. Now that they knew about this, they would at least mock and ridicule. They might even come out to slap Yi in the face. But they did not. Yi and the others became very quiet, which made them puzzled. Could it be that these people still had some big tricks up their sleeves? After Murong Qingqing and Lin Xian arrived, Qingqing introduced the geniuses of the Phoenix race to Lin Xian. When she came before Yi, Qingqing said, "This is Sister Yi." She explained expressionlessly. Lin Xian smiled. "Oh, Sister Yi." At this moment, Yi raised her head. When she saw Lin Xian's gaze, she was so frightened that her body trembled. She lowered her head and said, "I'm feeling a little uncomfortable, so I'll leave first." After saying that, she ran away like a rabbit. It was not only her. The few people around her also found excuses to leave. This surprised everyone. Murong Qingqing was puzzled as well. It seemed that the other party was afraid of something. She looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said through voice transmission, "When you weren't around, they came to find trouble with me. After being taught a lesson by me, they were probably scared." Murong Qingqing's expression was strange. No wonder. But it was good. This Yi had indeed often found trouble with her. She probably would not dare to do so in the future. Apart from that, there were also geniuses from the Thunder Clan and the Heavenly Rock Clan. Lin Xian looked at those people and nodded slightly as a greeting. This made the faces of the people from the two clans turn ugly. The other party was too arrogant. At this moment, someone said coldly, "Since young Master Lin could win the heart of the fatally beautiful fairy, he must have something extraordinary. Why don't you show it to us?" "That's right, I've just refined a treasure saber recently. Why don't I spar with young Master Lin?" Voices sounded one after another. These people were all staring at Lin Xian. It seemed that they wanted to make a move today. On the Phoenix clan side, apart from Yi, there were many people who had conflicts with Murong Qingqing. After all, Murong Qingqing had joined the Phoenix clan halfway, and because of her god's bloodline, she took up a large portion of the resources. This caused the resources of the Phoenix clan's geniuses to decrease significantly. How could these geniuses be willing to accept this? Therefore, they naturally hated Murong Qingqing. Chapter 5100. Lin Xian looked at them and said coldly, I advise you not to do this. Why? Are you afraid? The phoenix race snorted. Lin Xian sneered. I'm afraid you'll go to hell. The surrounding people exclaimed. This brat is too arrogant. The phoenix race was enraged. Brat, do you know what you're saying? Do you know where you are? Our great emperor clan isn't something you can challenge. However, Lin Xian sat down beside Murong Qingqing. Seeing this, the heavenly rock race was enraged. Brat, don't you understand? Try and see if my treasured blade is sharp. Similarly, experts from the Thunder clan also walked out. Even the Phoenix race sent out their experts. 3 experts walked out and stared at Lin Xian. Their eyes emitted a terrifying radiance. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they shook their heads and sighed. They felt that Lin Xian was dead meat. Are you sure you want to fight? Since that's the case, I'll do as you wish. Lin Xian stood up. He first looked at the man from the Thunder clan. His eyes emitted a terrifying radiance. The man's soul screamed as if it was being torn apart. Blood flowed out of his 7 orifices as he knelt on the ground. What's going on? The surrounding people were stunned. It's an eye technique. Someone shouted. The Thunder clan was shocked. Damn it, does this brat really dare to fight? One had to know that this was the Phoenix race. Where did he get his courage from? Damn brat, how dare you injure my soul? The expert from the Thunder clan shouted angrily. He turned into a bolt of lightning and charged over. However, he was sent flying by Lin Xian's sword. His body was split into 2. Lin Xian said coldly. Do you think an ant like you has the right to fight with me? Then, Lin Xian turned around and looked at the heavenly rock race. His eyes emitted a terrifying radiance. The surrounding people were shocked. This brat is too strong. Murong Qingqing shook her head and sighed. Lin Xian had already been crowned king. How could these people challenge him? The people of the Tianping race also had gloomy expressions. Xian said, didn't you want to test the sharpness of the sword? Make your move. After saying that, he punched out. The 6 paths fist was indomitable. The man from the Tianping race shouted angrily. With a wave of his hand, a battle saber appeared and slashed forward. He wanted to shatter his opponent's fist. Clang! An earth-shattering sound rang out. This kid is too arrogant. That battle blade is clearly an extremely terrifying sacred artifact. My guess is that his fist will be split in half. That's for sure. He's probably a soul expert, and he's good at catching people off guard. However, it would be an idiot to try to compete with his physique. These people sneered. However, they were soon stunned. The treasured saber in front of him was blasted into 2 halves, while Lin Xian's fist was unscathed. Impossible. The experts of the Tianping race roared in fear. Especially the expert who attacked, he was even more dumbfounded. This battle saber was meticulously refined by him, and it was extremely terrifying. Even the great sage wouldn't be able to shatter it. But now, it was broken by a single punch from the other party. How terrifying was his strength. Lin Xian said coldly, it seems that your battle saber isn't that great. I wonder how strong you are. As he spoke, the 6 paths fist struck out again. The people of the Tianping race were terrified. That person shouted angrily, Tianping seal. He formed a seal with his palms, forming a huge seal that pressed down. It collided with the 6 paths fist. As if struck by lightning, he flew backward, and cracks appeared on his body. With a boom, he turned into a bloody mist. His soul wanted to escape, but it was slapped to the ground by Lin Xian. Lin Xian stepped on the other party's soul with one foot and said coldly, "Aunt, who gave you the courage to challenge me?" That person cried out miserably. The people of the Tianping race roared crazily, "Damn brat, you dare." Lin Xian snorted and crushed the body that the other party had just reformed. He said, "Why wouldn't I dare?" The people of the Phoenix race were furious. The eyes of the man from the Phoenix race were filled with cold killing intent. He said coldly, "Stop immediately and apologize." Lin Xian looked at him and said coldly, "Who do you think you are? How dare you order me around? Previously, I didn't attack you because I gave Qingqing face. Now, if you attack me, I can guarantee that you will end up like them. You." That man was so angry that his body trembled. The people of the Phoenix race were also gnashing their teeth. However, they were really frightened by Lin Xian, and no one attacked for a while. On the other hand, the people of the Tianping race were angry. They all looked at Flawless Bailey. Flawless Bailey's face was gloomy, but he had no intention of attacking. His opponent was only the crown prince, and this person in front of him was not qualified. "Old servant, save me!" The injured prodigy roared crazily. An old man walked out of the void and slapped toward Lin Xian. "You dare to attack my young master? Go to hell." His palm turned into a sharp claw that tore heaven and earth apart. Therefore, this claw could even tear apart a dragon, let alone a human. Countless people were shocked. Was an expert of the older generation going to attack? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He roared and slashed out with his sword. It turned into the shadow of a dragon and rushed forward. "Tianping slaying dragon, let's see if you have the ability to do so." This sword split heaven and earth, and the old man's sharp claw was shattered. He was also split in half. Sacred blood floated between heaven and earth. The surrounding people were shocked. What a terrifying sword energy. Why did this guy have the aura of the Tao of Dragons? Could it be that he was a member of the dragons? Even the people of the Phoenix race were stunned. If Lin Xian was a member of the dragons, then the situation was different. The people of the Heavenly Rock race had ugly expressions. They had a grudge with the dragons. The Heavenly Rock race was only so-so. None of them could fight. As soon as these words were spoken, the people of the Heavenly Rock race could not hold it in anymore. Even Bailey Wuk's eyes burst out with a cold light. He stood up. At this moment, the elders of the Phoenix race walked over. The battle here naturally alarmed them. After they came over, they said, "Everyone, think about tomorrow. Today is not the time." Lin Xian shrugged. He did not care when the battle would start. Bailey Wuk stared at Lin Xian for a long time before retracting his gaze. "I'll let you live for another day." This banquet ended early. When Lin Xian left, the surrounding people were terrified. No one dared to underestimate him anymore. Although it was just a simple exchange, the strength Lin Xian displayed showed that he was a top-notch expert. They also knew that Murong Qingqing would not choose an ant for no reason. Yi and the others were shocked. Fortunately, they had left early. Otherwise, they would have been unlucky as well. The people of the Phoenix race were shocked. Many people studied that battle and discovered that Lin Xian had a powerful soul, a terrifying physique, terrifying strength, and sharp sword energy. Chapter 5101. However, some people shook their heads and sneered because they knew that the person who could compete with Lin Xian was even more extraordinary. That was Bailey Wuk. He was the #1 genius of the Heavenly Rock race. In fact, other than Bailey Wook, there were a few other top geniuses who were chasing after Murong Qingqing. Perhaps they would all appear tomorrow. At that time, it would be a true battle between dragons and tigers. Whether Lin Xian could fight against them was still unknown. On the other side, Murong Qingqing also said, "You have to be careful of Bailey Wook tomorrow. He does have the battle strength of an emperor." Moreover, the Heavenly Rock race's battle strength was also very strong. Lin Xian nodded after hearing that. Murong Qingqing thought about it and said that other than him, there might be a few more people who would come. Those people were also very strong. Some of them could even use Emperor Divine powers. Lin Xian smiled, "Qingqing, you're still so charming." Murong Qingqing blushed and leaned against Lin Xian. "No matter how strong they are, they're just a finger of yours." Last night, the news spread out and countless people were shocked. The younger generation and even the older generation were discussing it. Could it be that another young emperor had risen? Someone exclaimed. Someone sneered, "Impossible, he's not qualified." Everyone was excited, waiting for the sky to brighten so that they could watch the battle between dragons and tigers. When the leader of the Phoenix race heard the news, he narrowed his eyes. Oh, not a useless person, but a top genius. That was interesting. However, he still couldn't be compared to Bailey Wook. He still didn't take Lin Xian seriously. The people of the Thunder race were furious. Their genius had been severely injured. However, they didn't do anything. Instead, they placed their hopes on the Heavenly Rock race. The people of the Heavenly Rock race roared. This time, they had lost a lot of face. They were all waiting. Tomorrow, Bailey Wook would make his move. The next day, when the sun rose, the banquet finally began. Everyone came in excitedly and presented their gifts. Those who could come were all people with extraordinary statuses. They were either from the clan of the ancients, great sects, or peerless experts. When Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing appeared, they attracted countless gazes. They looked at each other with red eyes, full of envy. The people of the Phoenix race had a cold expression. The leader of the Phoenix race had also come. She sat high in the sky and looked down like a queen. Lin Xian felt a huge pressure, but he wasn't afraid. Driving the sword qi within his body, Lin Xian stepped forward calmly. Lin Xian paid his respects to the Phoenix clan master and the various seniors. He bowed without any emotion. "You're Lin Xian." The Phoenix clan leader said coldly as a terrifying bloodline aura burst forth. At this moment, the entire world froze, and everyone felt their scalps go numb. They felt their bodies tremble. It was as if Lin Xian could kill them with a glance. The void around Lin Xian continued to shatter. However, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up as he ignored the terrifying power. "He's right. It's me." The leader of the Phoenix race was shocked. Even a top genius wouldn't be able to withstand the pressure that she had just displayed. She thought that Lin Xian might kneel down directly. That way, she could give him a warning. However, she realized that Lin Xian wasn't affected at all. She was surprised. Could it be that this young man has some treasure? That's why he could withstand her pressure. On the other side, the leader of the Heavenly Rock race had a cold expression. However, he didn't say anything. Instead, he secretly gave a look. The people of the Heavenly Rock race moved quickly. Not long after, a group of people came with murderous intent. The leader was a middle-aged man. Beside him was a pale-faced young man. He was the previous owner of the saber. He was beaten up by Lin Xian and was seriously injured. When he saw Lin Xian, his body trembled. However, a fierce murderous intent appeared in his eyes. With his father here, he was going to take revenge this time. After these people came, the middle-aged man in front of them shouted. Bailey Ba shouted coldly. You're the one who attacked and injured my son. Who are you? How dare you question me? Lin Xian's cold shout was like a clap of thunder. It gave Bailey Ba a fright. The surrounding people were also shocked. This guy is so domineering. Bailey Ba was stunned. When he came back to his senses, he shouted coldly. Why can't I question you? Show me your identity and background. Lin Xian said, I'm Qingqing's husband. Qingqing is a member of the Phoenix race. I'm here to return home. What's with your attitude? Is this how you treat your master? When the people of the Phoenix race heard this, they were so angry that their noses became crooked. Despicable brat, when did we admit it? Lin Xian looked at Bailey Ba and said coldly, your son fought me with a saber. I fought him with my bare hands. He wasn't strong enough and was seriously injured. How dare you come here? Is the Heavenly Rock race all so despicable? If that's the case, then it's really disappointing. Brat, it's useless to say more. Take my palm. If you don't die, then this matter will be settled. Bailey Ba snorted coldly. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. The surrounding people's faces changed. This Bailey Ba was an expert of the generation. It was indeed shameless to bully the younger generation. However, no one said anything. Many people even wanted to see Lin Xian make a fool of himself. Murong Qingqing's face changed. She wanted to say something, but she was stopped by the people of the Phoenix race. Young Master Lin, I think this is fair. Why don't you take my palm? Don't worry, you won't lose your life here. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. They knew that although Lin Xian wouldn't die, he might be seriously injured. He wouldn't be able to recover within 100 years. He might even be crippled. A palm to settle the grudge. Lin Xian shook his head. Unless you take my palm too. Alright, no problem. We'll each take a palm, and then we won't pursue the matter. Bailey Ba's eyes emitted a terrifying killing intent. Although Lin Xian had injured his son and an old servant before, so what? My strength isn't comparable to anyone else's. Young man, make your move. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. Bailey Ba stood there and laughed coldly. Lin Xian nodded. Alright, I won't hold back then. He stretched out a finger and pointed forward. Using the finger as a sword. Azura sword technique. This was an extremely terrifying arch-theurgy, the sword of slaughter. The sword light flashed, and everyone felt a chill in their souls. Bailey Ba's face changed. Oh no, my life is in danger. He knew that he had been careless. He didn't expect Lin Xian to have such an ultimate technique. He roared and attacked with all his might. The phantom of a heavenly rock appeared behind him. Its wings turned into heavenly blades and slashed forward. Go to hell. The sword chi and the blade light collided, directly shattering the sky. Puff! Blood splattered in the sky. The power in the sky disappeared. Chapter 5102. The surrounding people were stunned when they saw this scene. The one who fell was none other than Bailey Ba. Bailey Ba was an expert of the current generation, a great sage. His strength was extremely terrifying. However, he was killed by a single sword strike. More importantly, the person who killed him was a sage king, a young man. How inconceivable was this? The Tianping race came back to their senses and roared crazily. How dare you kill him? Do you want to die? Kid, die. I'm going to tear you into pieces. These people's eyes were bloodshot. Lin Xian retracted his sword chi and sneered. How could they forget so quickly? Previously, they had agreed to settle their grudges with one move each. He wasn't as strong as Bailey Ba, so he deserved to be killed. Are you trying to bully me? If you're not convinced, then go ahead. Lin Xian waved his hand, not afraid of the Tianping race at all. The Tianping race was so angry that they were trembling. The surrounding people were discussing. Yes, they didn't expect the Tianping race to kick an iron plate this time. This kid's cultivation wasn't high, but his strength was terrifying. He was definitely a top genius who could fight above his level. Countless voices of discussion rang out. The Tianping race's faces were cold. They were too careless this time. If they attacked again, they would be used against them and become the target of ridicule. However, they were unwilling to let this kid go. Fortunately, when they were hesitating, another roar came from afar. Who dares to hurt my grandson? Come and die. This voice was filled with endless rage. Thunderclouds gathered in the sky. The Lei Dong race's people came. Many people were surprised and opened up a path for them. The Lei Dong race's experts strode over. Grandfather, it's him. It's this kid who injured me. A young man with injuries pointed at Lin Xian and said quickly. Beside him was an old man with a head of white hair. However, his figure was tall and straight, and his chi and blood surged into the sky. He was one of the older generation experts of the Lei Dong clan. At this moment, he stared at Lin Xian with lightning in his eyes. Young man, how dare you injure my grandson? How do you want to die? Lin Xian glanced at him and sneered. Is your grandson from the younger generation? The elder of the Lei Dong clan snorted. Nonsense, are you blind? Can't you see? Lin Xian sneered. Since he was from the younger generation, then they would fight. He would lose because his skills were inferior. What? You old thing, are you trying to take advantage of your seniority to attack me? So this was the bearing of the Lei Dong clan. How disappointing. What qualifications does a family like yours have to stand at the peak? Get down here. Lin Xian's voice rang out, and many people were in an uproar. Indeed, this matter shouldn't have been left to the older generation experts. The matters of the younger generation should be settled by themselves. However, both the Sky Rock clan and the Thunder Movement clan were very powerful. The others didn't dare to say anything. The old man's face turned cold. What a sharp-tongued brat. But do you think that you can live like this? I don't care about the others, but this old man is famous for being protective. I bullied you today, what can you do to me? Sigh. Some people in the crowd sighed. Indeed, this old man wasn't ordinary. He was famous for being protective. Moreover, the other party was very powerful. He had a nickname, Thunderclap Hands. His palm could easily catch thunder. At the same time, his palm struck out as if 10,000 lightning bolts were descending. This thunderclap hands could sweep through everything. It was an extremely powerful technique. The other party was famous for his palms. Those who went against him would end up in a miserable state. Now that the other party didn't even care about his reputation and was targeting a young man, this brat was probably in danger. The Toad and the dark red divine dragon were speechless. They had never seen such a shameless person. Today was an eye-opener. Lin Xian snorted. Why? You want to stand up for your grandson? Go ahead and attack. Ha! Don't worry, I won't let you die so easily. I'll cripple you and hand you over to my grandson for him to torture you for the rest of your life. The thunderclap hands walked out, emitting a terrifying aura. The surrounding people were worried. Although Lin Xian was strong, the thunderclap hands were even more frightening. Seeing that the battle was about to erupt, a loud voice came from afar, welcoming young Master Shi Yuanfeng. The crowd was in an uproar. Shi Yuanfeng, this name was familiar to them. This was because he was an extremely terrifying genius. He had a strong physique and unparalleled combat strength. He had once defeated 30 top experts in a single day. He had made a name for himself. There were rumors in the world that there were no more than 5 people in the younger generation who could compete with Shi Yuanfeng in terms of strength. Now, he was here too. Many people's eyes were shining. They knew that Shi Yuanfeng was also pursuing Murong Qingqing. Heaven and earth trembled. Even the people of the Thunder clan looked serious. They were known for their violent strength. However, when they felt this power, their blood boiled. One could imagine how terrifying this person was. In the distance, there was a man who was like a god of war. He lowered his head and stared at Lin Xian. "You're Qingqing's man." A cold voice sounded. The surrounding space shattered continuously. At this moment, the surrounding people felt an immense pressure. The dark red divine dragon, Toad, and the others' faces changed. This person was much stronger than those who came before. Murong Qingqing frowned as well. She said coldly, "Shi Yuanfeng, I've already told you everything. Why are you still here? Hurry up and leave." Shi Yuanfeng looked at Murong Qingqing and said, "Qingqing, I won't give up. You'll be mine in the end. Even if Bailey Wuck catches up with you, I'll fight him." Not to mention the fact that he was now an ant. The thunderclap hands looked at this scene and sneered. It seemed that he wouldn't make a move. Shi Yuanfeng wouldn't be able to escape death. The Sky Rock clan's side also had a sinister look. At this moment, everyone knew that Lin Xian was dead meat. "Who do you think you are? How dare you stand on top of my head? Get down here and talk." Lin Xian didn't even look at the other party and shouted coldly. The people around him went crazy. Did this guy know who he was facing? That was Shi Yuanfeng, the god of war with infinite strength. How dare he scold Shi Yuanfeng? It's over. Their last bit of hope disappeared. In their opinion, if Lin Xian begged for mercy and had a better attitude, he might be able to keep his life. But now, it would be hard for him to walk out of here alive. "How dare you? Kid, do you know who young Master Shi is?" Someone shouted. The people of the Thunder clan also said coldly. "You're courting death. Why aren't you kowtowing and apologizing?" Even the people of the Sky Rock clan snorted coldly. "Shi Yuanfeng is someone who can compete with the #1 genius of our clan. Do you think you can take it? Little brat. Brat, I'll see how you die this time." You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.